the plan is to do pretty much everything in and around Mauville. I did everything leading up to here. I got the Mach Bike, doubled back to Granite Cave to get Mauville on the squad, Langolier, or Mauville. Soon to be Mega Mauville. Once, well, gotta get 5 badges first, anyhow, but I think I said 4 last time, but I just forgot that, like, Norman... I know Norman's the 5th gym leader, but, like, you just go right to him, so when I think about, like, surfing from Mauville over to the route that takes you north to Fortree, I always think of that being after Flannery, which, like, it's not that much further after her, but whatever. Oh, no, it's all good, dude. We'll have to catch up maybe next weekend, then. Or tomorrow. Yeah, that might actually work. I might be down for that. But yeah, I didn't stream during my last time slot because my internet was down, unfortunately. Everything should be fine now. So I guess because it's been a second, I'll do a quick recap. We got our, like, mixed attacking Combuskin with Feather Dance, which was super, super helpful against Brawly. Very helpful. Formerly had Echoed Voice, which allowed me to, like, sweep through most of his team, whereas I was getting bodied prior, especially because I couldn't get Mauville with Intimidate, or I couldn't get any Mauville. It's a basement floor only encountering Granite Cave, which requires the Mach Bike, etc. We got our first fully evolved Mon here, Dompe. I did, before the second stream, I modified its nature to be Adamant and its ability to be Natural Cure over Frisk, mostly because this thing's going to need all the help it can get. It's not a great Mon, but I really like its design. It's one of my favorites of Gen 6, and since this is a Gen 6 remake of the Gen 3 games, I want to use some Gen 6 Mons. Speaking of Gen 6 Mons, we got Frogadier, easily my favorite Gen 6 starter, which I know that's like a basic choice, because, you know, Ash Gran and Gran and Smash and blah blah blah, but, like, I don't know, the other two are fine, but really, like, the Gen 6 pool of Mons is not really my cup of tea, sort of largely speaking. I was looking through it, the other day, and I was like, yeah, there's really not much here, and some of the cool ones have, like, shit stats. Like Pangoro and Trevenant, for instance. I'm like, why are y'all stats so, like, bad? Like, Pangoro has good HP and good attack. Oh, right, duh. And, like, Trevenant has, like, solid attack and, like okay bulk, I guess, but I don't know. It's like nothing really outstanding. Also, I need to, like, I know I fidget a lot when I'm sitting here because it's not, like, super comfortable being boxed in like this, but best I got. We're just gonna cut. But yeah, I think, so what, we gotta go through Cycling Road, then I think I'm gonna do the Trick House. I'm forgetting if you can do 2 rounds of the Trick House. I know some of the Trick House things are modified, I wanna say. Like, I don't think they're all the same from Ruby Sapphire, but maybe they are, and I'm thinking of possible Emerald changes. It's been a while. And yeah, the outlines in particular are looking more jagged than I'm used to seeing them, and I'm wondering if I did accidentally modify some other graphical setting in Citra, but it should be fine. Manectite. Oh wait, yeah, that was the timer that just turned on. The thing is, you're never gonna get a good time on your first go-around because there's trainers. What's up, Gustavo? Welcome, welcome. Why is he looking at me like that? I got a Luxio. Elvis in the building. Are you a dark type in this hack? I'll test it. No. Luxray might be, but I don't know, it kind of depends. Like, Oh, finished Brothership recently, nice. Yeah, because you took a break from that for a while, didn't you? What'd you think? I've still not gotten around to playing it. But but I would like to check it out as a big fan of the Mario and Luigi games, or like, you know, at least the ones I grew up with. And on. Emphasize getting hacked by World 3, yeah. Oh, weekend was good. I mean, I'm glad that I finally got that video out, which is good. Should have just gone live for everybody, whereas it was previously accessible to members since yesterday evening. Oh, I don't have any paralyzed heals. I have Cherry Berry at least. What level do I want to focus around? Because I don't want to, like... This is the tricky thing with, like, leveling, right? Like, I want to level everyone, like... Especially in a game like this, where I'm building, like, a squad of 6 kind of deal in a more casual playthrough. Like, I want to keep everyone roughly at the same level, but I also don't want to, like, throw a battle for EXP distribution purposes, you know? Oh, but these guys are kind of close to 26 already. I'm down to push to maybe 27 then with combo skin, and then kind of swap around as needed, even within these battles. But we're kind of over leveled. I'm hoping that Watson accommodates for this. I mean, certainly the first Archie fight is gonna accommodate for all this training. The thing with Watson though is, like, you can fight him. I could fight him now if I wanted to, but I don't know the level caps, nor do I want to look at that kind of stuff. Like, I'll look at level up, like, learn sets and stuff for my guys, but everything else I'm down to just, like, tackle at my own pace. Fake outs. Very ambitious. That adds up. I think you could quantify, honestly, a lot of Switch games as being ambitious for the hardware in particular. Right, maybe even in general, though. Like, I do sometimes think back about, like, Tears of the Kingdom and how impressive it is. Even if there are stutters and stuff like that on a Switch 1, sure. But, like, how impressive it is to go, like, you can dive from the Sky Islands down to the surface and then down underground. And that's, like, all, you know, seamless, in quotes, right? Frame rate notwithstanding. But, like, it doesn't, there's no, like, loading zone. You know, the game doesn't crash under the pressure of that kind of deal. Part of me wants to switch out, but I'm like, I don't really have a switch in for this. I can go into Langolier, maybe. Just because Combo Skin's having a bit of a rough go of it. I did, this weekend, finish up Raido Remastered. Pretty fun. Damn, 50 hours for Brothership? Sheesh. Is that, like, doing a lot of side stuff? I don't even know, like, how robust the side content or exploration is and stuff. I mean, I guess I think back to Superstar Saga, and, you know, you can go and get all the beans and stuff like that and do all the coffee combinations, and, like, there's, like, menial stuff like that, sure. But I wonder, like, in terms of actual side quests, really, in Mario and Luigi? I don't know that there is much. It's usually, like, just exploring older areas with new abilities. Like, very lightly Metroidvania-esque in that way. I wouldn't necessarily call it that because it doesn't really bar progression, or if it does, it is kind of specifically like you learn this thing here to use going forward kind of deal. Oh, the story? Okay, so the story is just straight up, like, pretty long. Which, I mean, you know... God, I don't want to use all my cherry berries, though, because they could be good held items for Watson. But... would I rather double back? If I had thought about this before, I would have... Now we'll get more cherry berries at some point. I don't fucking... It'll be fine. That's not what I meant to do, but that's fine. I gotta remind myself I can buy lemonades. Maybe even in the kiosk. Like, I think it'll be okay to get through Cycling Road. I might just pivot into Slateport to buy some items. Mostly for, like, in-between battles, if possible. Yeah, we'll push to 27 with Combo Scan. I think, I want to save a lot of my thoughts for a video, but I think the remastering side of things for Raido is great. Like, and, you know, everyone's gonna have a preference when it comes to visuals. I have 2 cents to say about that, potentially in the video if I want to get messy, but I guess like the gist of the point, because it might be another, you know, at least week or two before I get the video out, but it's like, if the lighting in a remaster is your biggest concern, have you heard of like reshade, or like, you know, the brightness settings, or like it's one of those weird things that people get hung up on. I'm like, okay, like when it comes to visuals and stuff, I think it looks great for like an up-resed, you know, like what they replace the pre-rendered backgrounds with like actual 3D environments and stuff like that. I mean, I think it looks good, dude. Like but more so it's like the gameplay improvements and stuff like that. I think I'm gonna keep double kick because it's more consistent. Like low kick is good against like heavier mons, obviously, but I don't know how relevant that's gonna be for Watson, really. But yeah, I mean, it's a major glow up, mostly in terms of gameplay, which you would think people would be more concerned about than the fucking ambient occlusion or whatever the fuck. It's so annoying. Like, it's like, have your preference, say your criticism and stuff like that, but it's like, man, that is like one of the easiest things to fix on your own. And if that kind of stuff bothers you that much, and you're not playing on PC, maybe you should be, you know? Like, that's the thing. Right? I get financial situation when it comes to that and stuff like that, I get it, but it's like, if you're that deep into things where you're like, oh, the lighting looks different, and therefore worse because new thing bad, whatever. I mean, like, whatever, you can have your preference. I really don't, I do kind of care, because it's fucking annoying that it takes over the conversation. But, it's just like, if you are that in the weeds about that kind of shit, and you're not playing on PC, which is a place where you can easily download either a visual mod or reshade, or like, you can make those changes if you want pretty easily. Like, if you're not playing on PC and that bothers you, then it's like, why aren't you then? You know what I mean? It's weird. It's very strange. Because I think there's much more interesting things to talk about in terms of the Raito remaster than the fucking lighting, which I think looks fine. Like, it's just like, I don't know, it's just weird shit. I don't want to get on. I guess I'm already in the middle of one of my discourse tirades, but whatever. Yeah, I think, like, remaster-wise, it's great. The game itself is, it's not like amazing or anything, but it is like, it is fun, it is worth playing, I enjoyed it. Well, I'm glad I didn't click Shadowclaw first. I went out of my way to do some like extra grinding and stuff like that for completion's sake. Although, you have to like replay it on the hardest difficulty, in terms of like the achievement list and stuff like that, but that I'll save for hopefully whenever Raito 2 gets remastered, and I hope that happens. I do hope that Raito 2 does get a remaster. But it'll be likely that, you know, if that happens, when that happens, whatever, it'll be likely that I'll replay the first one in preparation, because it's not terribly long. Like, I did a lot of grinding, and I did all the side quests and stuff, and it took me like about 30 hours. I think I hit the final chapter in about... I might head back to Mauville to buy lemonades now. Well, yeah, I know I should. I think I hit the final chapter around... Was it at the 25-hour mark? I don't know. You could probably finish it in 20. Or between 20 and 25 if you, like, ignored a lot of the side stuff and, like, didn't talk to as many NPCs and stuff like that. And I kind of stopped talking to NPCs after a while, because it was just kind of like, they're not really adding much. Because they always have something new to say whenever, like, the scenario changes, which is cool, but it's like, if you want to go out of your way to talk to them every time, it's like a lot. It's a lot. In terms of Mario and Luigi, if it was a real Mario and Luigi, Yeah, that's just like that. Yeah, that's an online discourse thing. For sure. Didn't play the 3DS games. I mean, I think the 3DS games just kind of like... The combat was always fun. I actually think I prefer the combat. Like, in terms of Mario and Luigi RPGs, I think I prefer the combat of Dream Team and Paper Jam over... Like, if you're just purely plucking the combat out of those games, nothing else about them, I think I do prefer that over the previous ones. Granted, it's not like that much different, but... Now, where's this vending machine, though? But, what's it called? Other than that, like, the 3DS games kind of just bogged down the formula set in place on GBA and DS, in my opinion. Where... Oh, maybe it was in the bike... what's it called? Oh, right here. Perfect. Let's see, does it memorize the cursor? It does for potions in battle, so I would hope that this does this. Buy another one, yes. Okay, perfect. So I can just spam A for a few seconds, few minutes. Because these should be... If Soda Pops are healing 60, I feel like these would be 80. But even if they're 70, it's still really good bang for the buck. I do kind of wish you could just buy multiple at once, but it's not like a huge deal. Because usually you do this like once per playthrough and it's like whatever. Late game combat and Brothership was kind of nutty. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's good that it puts up a challenge in the late game for sure. And I mean, yeah, like that series is kind of known for having tricky boss fights. I mean, the final boss of Superstar Saga is kind of insane. I do hope that they change the prompt to initiate an action with Luigi to be like in combat, because like once you select a move, you press B, right? But like when he jumps to hit the block or whatever in battle, I think it's A, from what I understand. It's like a weird thing. I guess there could be some confusion in terms of like, well, no, because they act as soon as you select it, so it wouldn't be a matter of like thinking that B canceled you out to select Mario's action. It's like, that's not how it works. Wait, did I just get 3 for 1? Damn. The highway robbery right here. Got 14, they heal 80. And I have Soda Pops. I think I'll be fine. We can restock when I come back, if needed. But yeah, Rider Remastered, like, it's good. I do think it's a little expensive for what it is, but it's not like you couldn't get your money's worth. I mean, there's multiple difficulties, you know. I would say, like, you know, grinding out and finishing the Devil Chart with the Compendium and stuff like that, it was like around 30 hours, but I had to, like, start New Game Plus and play through the first, like, maybe 2 hours, hour or two of New Game Plus to, like, to get the last side quest and the last demon. Because that's a New Game Plus exclusive and you can't access that until, like, the second chapter or something like that. But yeah, it's fun. I'll save more of my detailed thoughts for a video, but probably mix up the buttons the entire playthrough. Yeah, I guess that's fair. Also, did I interact with the front of the table? Normally he's like, I don't know how they changed it. Maybe you just interact with the table generally, but it used to be like here, right? I had these memorized at one point, where it's like here, and then I know like the cabinet's one. I think this is maybe like the third one, and like the window. It's like, I don't know. This is always a fun little like side dungeon kind of thing. And the fact that it like, you know, updates as you get more badges and stuff. I might as well knock this out too while I still have a monolith cut. I think, yeah, this is just for the optional item would probably be pretty good if they were modified. But yeah, Brothership is one of those Switch games that I always forget about it, but I do want to get around to it at some point. But maybe that's one that I save for, you know, whenever, when I get a Switch 2 at some point, you know? Okay, I'm like, can we not do this, man? I thought the performance stuff would stabilize after a certain point, but I guess not. I gotta check if I'm on, like, the latest build of Citra or not, though, but... Chespin... I don't have any type I could change into to resist. I think... I mean, obviously Combo Skin is, like, the right switch in here. I'm just thinking, like, he's already at 27. I've got Poison Fang on this thing and Intimidate, so it should be fine. Oh, and you know what else? I also started my replay of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance this weekend, and what a game, man. What, like, I actually managed to get through, like, quite a bit. I think I'm on, like, chapter 8 or 9, but I'm only, like, maybe, like, 3 hours in or something. But yeah, like, what... Like, really, really impressive. And I mean, it was one of my favorites as soon as I played it for the first time a few years back, but... yeah, just like kind of good stuff all around, honestly. And that'll be something I'll, like, chip away at. That'll, I guess, be, like, the video following Raido. But I don't know when that will end up actually happening, because it depends on when I finish it, and then, like, you know, early August I will be away. Which, you know, I could either bring the game to finish it if I'm not done, or I could do some editing on the road. It's a little finicky on my laptop, but maybe. I feel like more likely it'll be, like, just me kind of planning it out, and then when I get back, just sort of hammer the video out. Oh, that's right, because you have to get the scroll. Do I have flying coverage on anything? I don't think so. But I can Leech Seed this. Oh, he has Aerial Ace. Okay. Didn't feel like he had to grind. That's good. That's good. How do you think it maybe it's been a while, but, like, how do you think it holds up to, like, Superstar Saga or, like, Bowser's? Or Partners in Time? Partners in Time is a weird one. Like, because I played it in full for the first time when I streamed it, and there's some really cool elements there. It's just like, I don't know. I think I was really, like, positive. Like, I felt really positively about it when I like first finished it or whatever. I was like, oh, this is, like, you know, this kind of stands up with the two that surround it. And then the further I get, the more I'm like, it's, like, kind of forgettable. But there's, like, a lot of cool ideas there, I guess. Aside from Bros attacks being items, that shit kind of sucks. But yeah. But then it's weird too, because, like, Bowser's Inside Story, for all the good stuff there, you've got, like, all, like, the DS gimmicky kind of shit in there that I just don't really care for as much, but so then I keep coming back to it, and I'm like, yeah, Superstar Saga is, like, it's definitely more primitive in terms of, like, combat options and shit like that. I guess. I mean, you've got what are they called? They're not technicals. It's, forget what it's called. You got, like, the bros attacks, and then you've got, like, the variations of them and shit. Advanced, that's what it is. You've got, like, the advanced bros attacks and shit. But it's also, I don't know. I felt like kind of with all those games, like, the inputs are fun because it's, you know, different. So, like, it's always A and B, but it's, like, different combinations of them and different timings for, like, bros attacks and defense and whatever. But Superstar Saga, like, as much as I liked that game, or at least, like, you know, the first half of it or something like that, it did feel like, it did kind of feel like it was starting to boil down to just, like, using the same powerful, consistent bros attack over and over and over again at a certain point. It would be nice, and this does come into play, I think, more so in the 3DS games, which is why I like the combat there more. There just needs to be, like, more variance, I think. Like, even more variance, and I think the variance is pretty solid in the first few. Brothership really relies on new characters to drive the story. Partners in Time. Yeah, Partners in Time didn't do... You had, like, the suitcase and the Shroobs, which were pretty funny. But kind of one note also. But, like, I like... It's just, like, I don't know. I really like the character design for, like, the Shroob enemies and stuff. I think it's really interesting and different for Mario, which tends to be pretty, you know, acid trippy to begin with. I just don't really think about it like that, because it's like, of course the mushroom guys have hats on, and, like, of course this turtle breathes fire and blah blah, like why that feels standard to me is beyond me, because it's, like, not. And yet I can't help but look at Mario and think of most of the games in the catalog to be, like, kind of vanilla aesthetically. But I mean, it's literally just the fact that I've been playing Mario for so long and all of that. Just, like, used to the iconography at this point. I see. Interesting. Yeah, there was more experimentation with that in like, even like Paper Jam, for all of its middling qualities, I thought the combat was pretty fun, and it had, like, sort of that card bonus system on top of it that you could, like, you build your deck of, like, cards you can draw in battle for certain effects. Like, I don't know, I thought it was kind of cool. Still gotta get around to playing the Baten Kaitos games. We get Taunt. I think that sounds about right. Like, I don't think Brothership... I don't know, I feel like the conversation surrounding it sort of just died off after a quick while. But it's not here. Oh no, it is here. Yeah, but, like, you know, when you're reviving a series for the first time in a while, like, I think, like, you want to experiment and make it feel fresh, but at the same time, I think playing it sort of safe kind of makes sense, and then you build upon that for the sequel of the reboot or whatever. Oh, I can't use Rock Smash yet. Wait. No, wait, can't... But is it a TM here? I didn't go in the house with the guy with it, but I don't know if they reverted it to an HM in ORAS, because it was an HM back in OG Gen 3. Also, wait a second. Because Mauville is all, like, different and shit, I'm like, how do you even get Rock Smash? Because that house at the entrance is, like, not there. Yeah, I couldn't tell... Like, because the conversation sort of died, I couldn't really tell what sort of the consensus was on it. And I guess the consensus is that it's like, it's, you know, a good game that just, I guess, doesn't have a lot to talk about, I guess. Like, I don't know. But yeah, like, first Mario and Luigi game in a while. And, because, like, okay, I guess technically the Bowser's Inside Story remake was like, what, 2019 or 18 or something like that? So it wasn't that long, but nobody played it. Because, like, Bowser's was already playable on... Like, you could just put your DS cart in the 3DS and do it that way. And also the Switch had been out already, so it's like, yeah. So I think it would be safe to say, like, let's say since the last non-remake, which would have been Paper Jam in 2015, I think? Somewhere around there. I know this chick's gonna have grass types, but I'm gonna lead Frog and just probably pivot into either Mauville or Combuskin. It might actually be really good that I have Trevenant, though, because of Leech Seed and, like, powder moves and stuff. So maybe I just pivot Trev here. U-turn would be amazing, but... I'll pivot Trevenant in case of, like, Stun Spore or Leech Seed or something. Worry Seed. Alright, well... It's like anti-synergy with Sleep Powder, not that it would affect Trevenant in this gen anyway, but yeah. Do I just... I feel like I just stay in. What else? What else? I guess there's not really much, honestly. Like, I'm pretty much... Now that Rido's done, I'm pretty much just playing Path of Radiance, I guess, but yeah. I feel like Brothership did a good job of tying loose ends. Okay, yeah, that's good that they didn't, like, try to set it for a sequel too much. But yeah, I feel like they're usually pretty good with Mario and Luigi with keeping those self-contained. I would even argue with Paper Mario, although maybe some characters from the first game are in Thousand Year Door or something, but... And I guess I'm really just speaking from those two games' perspectives, because it's not like I've really played much of the other ones anyway. Not that I really want to, but... Yeah, usually pretty self-contained. Mostly, well, I mean, I'm sure that some of these studios can do whatever they want in terms of continuity. I mean, Intelligent Systems has done... I guess they do Paper Mario as well, but like there's continuity between certain Fire Emblem games and whatnot. What do I pivot into here? Mauville doesn't have like a fighting move, right? Let's go Combuskin, I guess. Pray for no T-Wave. I mean, I could have stayed in and clicked something. Spark. But yeah, I mean, like Nintendo games, kind of generally speaking, like, continuity is not their focus at all. You know, there may or may not be continuity between certain games, etc., but, like, it's not... I always go into... I go into Nintendo games under the assumption that continuity is not being considered while the games are being developed. Unless it is, like, you know, distinctly a direct sequel, in which case you have stuff like Tears of the Kingdom, which, like, doesn't do a good job at being a sequel in terms of, like, narrative connecting issue and stuff like that. Like, I think people pointed out that, like, you talk to characters you might have talked to in Breath of the Wild, and they talk to you like you talked to them for the first time, which is interesting. And by interesting, I mean, like, dumb. You know, like, if it was a brand new title in a different world, like, you know, most Zelda games are, then it's like, okay, yeah, just, like, fresh slate, of course continuity is not a factor. But it is weird for the direct sequel to, like, not really do that. That is strange. I don't think a lot of people probably played deep enough I cannot enunciate today. I don't think people probably played deep enough into Brothership to, like, really discuss the late game difficulty spike you're talking about. Because, you know, a lot of people don't even, like... A lot of people don't finish games. There's not really statistics you can check on that when it comes to Nintendo, because there's no, like, achievement list to, like, track that sort of stuff. Which, like, generally I'm fine with, but, like, there's no way to, like, see, like, oh, this percent of players who have booted up the game got to this point because there's an achievement for clearing the game or clearing this chapter or this section or whatever, you know? A little freeze manny, so a lot of backtracking. There's a fair amount of backtracking in the older M&L games, though, to be fair. Like, even in Superstar Saga, there was, like, the... What was it? There's some kind of hunt you have to do for the Yoshi Theater or whatever. Stuff like that. I really think, like... I talked about it a lot when I was streaming the Mario and Luigi games prior to Brothership even being announced, I think. And I really, like, I think that that first act, the first third of Superstar Saga is, like, excellent. And then, like, the second and third acts just, like, aren't quite as good. But, I don't know. Your mileage may vary. And then Bowser's, like... I don't know, I go back and forth on whether Superstar Saga or Bowser's is my favorite, though, but... You have a generic objective for most of the section. Oh, do you have to, like, memorize the bits of direction or dialogue? Okay, that's fair enough. Alright, everybody is at level 27. Brog is still the furthest behind. This thing really needs to get some better moves or something. Thief. It's not a dark type yet, though. No one gets T-Wave. I could teach it Cut, but I don't want it to be stuck with that. Rare Candy we'll save for an evolution or something. Oh, cutscene. Like proper, like pre-rendered cutscenes and stuff like that. There was some of that in the 3DS games, but not a ton, I guess. But I do wonder, I remember some people bringing up how tutorial heavy it is at the beginning. And like kind of how chatty it is in that regard. Which is not unlike the 3DS M&L games either, to be fair. That's the big thing with Dream Team, is like if you cut out a lot of that... If you cut out like the frivolous dialogue and like the tutorialization and shit, I feel like you would have a much better paced game. Like what, Dream Team? I don't remember how long it took me. It was like, was it like 40 hours or something like that? I feel like it was like 30 or something like that. Or if you cut like, you know, 25% off the runtime, it would be more of a contender for number one, because the combat is genuinely really good in Dream Team. And I liked the puzzling and the platform. Like, I liked a lot about Dream Team gameplay-wise. It was more so like pacing and like dialogue kinds of things that was like dragging it down. Who do I lead here? I guess Gren, Brog, and yeah, Mawile's good in a double battle. We can do this. It got double-digit streams? I think so. I think so. I mean, I guess I could pull it up. I remember I got stuck on the final boss of Dream Team, but that was partially because my strategy was flawed. As soon as I changed what I actually was doing, it became much more manageable. Who's the bigger threat here? Probably Furret, maybe? I know we're both intimidated, but I think I just double attack you. We got the confused, which is good. And we miss. Well, if this 2 KOs, then I should be safe to play Rough the Herdier instead. Especially if you hit yourself. Nice. Guarantees the roll. Yeah, I mean, how many streams... For all 5 Mario and Luigi's, I think it was 35 streams total. So I guess, like, on average, that's, what, 7 streams? But, like, some were fewer, some were more. You know? I can pull it up here in a second. I guess I could pull it up while, like, this stuff is playing out, but if I unfocus Citra, I think it'll... It won't disconnect my controller, but it doesn't let me input in the background for whatever reason. Alright. Mawa's at 28. I'm gonna lead Trev. Lead Trevenant. Because I don't know how many more levels I'm really... you have a Doduo normally, right? We'll do this fight, which can take a while because it's 6 mons. Yep. Let's see here. I guess I don't need to go into YouTube Studio. I could just look at lock in our moves. Yeah, like Superstar Saga was 5. Partners was 5. Bowser's was 8, I think. Dream Team 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dream Team was like 11, but some of them were really long. But some of them, actually, a lot of these were really long. What the fuck? Paper Jam was 6 parts, so Dream Team was the longest. It was pretty easily the longest one. Because I think there is a great game in there, and like, I don't know, the way that people throw around, is pejorative the right term? Pejorative is like a negative though. Pejorative. Okay, pejorative is a derogatory. What is the word I'm thinking of then? Not expletive, but fuck. What is it? Opposite of pejorative, maybe? There's like a certain word that I'm thinking of, but maybe... Not like descript... God damn it, it's gonna bother me if I don't figure this out. What word am I thinking of? Not hyperbole. But like, whatever you would deem terms like great, excellent, masterpiece, like shit like that. I don't know. This isn't me trying to be like, oh, my tastes are more refined and blah blah blah. It's more just like, I just don't throw words around like that as willy-nilly. So when I think about like Mario and Luigi Dream Team, like I think there is a great, at least like Mario RPG like in there. And I was gonna say like you could argue, I guess, that it is a great game on its own merit, but I do think you just superlative. That's thank you, Gustavo. Superlative. I don't even know, is that like the correct way to use that word? Yeah. I mean, I guess superlative is exaggerated or hyperbolical expression of praise. Yeah, that was the word I was thinking of. It's pretty apt for what I'm saying. But yeah, like the way I've talked about it before, how people throw around the word masterpiece, where it's like every game in this series is a masterpiece, and I'm like, you really feel that way? Like, fair enough. It's just like, I don't know. Like, I try to reserve words like that for like special, like experiences that are really special to me, kind of thing, you know? And I think throwing the word masterpiece around before a game is at least a few years old is like kind of odd to me. Like, I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, you want to call Ocarina of Time a masterpiece? Yeah, certainly, right? Like any game from that era that is like, all right, sure, fine. I might not agree or call it that, but like I wouldn't, like there are certain games that have stood the test of time in terms of conversation, at least, and stuff like that, and relevance, I guess. In terms of like, these are the all-time greats of this generation or that system or whatever. And that's all fair enough. I'm just like, because then I think about it and I'm like, you know, I really enjoy Pokemon to an extent, right? I like playing these ROM hacks. I don't do it like super often. I rarely these days do it outside of streaming, but I did play a good amount of Emerald Rogue when my internet was out, though. That was fun. But I was thinking about it. I was like, would I call any Pokemon game a masterpiece? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, because people throw that word around for like really any of the first 5 gens, to be honest. Like any game, there will be someone out there that calls one of those games a masterpiece, and I'm like, I think about it and I'm like maybe the Gen 5 games get the closest for me. And as much as I love Platinum in particular, it has some issues, you know? Like, I think about the HMs and I'm just like, man. I've talked about it before, like, yeah, HMs are in Gen 5 technically, but they are not as mandatory. There's like not as many requirements for you to use them, and plus they made Rock Smash and Flash TMs, so it's like those field moves are like not as tedious, etc. It's still like kind of an inexcusable system. Like, Raido literally does it where you have field moves you can use with their demons, and guess what? It's separate from your combat skills. Wow. Imagine that. Right? Having a separate pool of abilities for outside of battle that don't ruin your battle skill set? Isn't that a concept? Fucking Emerald Rogue does this too, and it's a fan game of all things. Not saying that's like a derogatory, there are plenty of great fan games out there. It's more just like, if like a single dev or like, you know, a small team or a fan project can do stuff like that, it's like, why can the multi-billion-dollar corporation not, you know? Whatever. I've talked about it before, though. Like, it is... At this point, I think it's a matter of the scope and scale of Pokemon being too broad. In terms of the game's scope and scale. You could also argue the scope and scale of the fan base, though, because it is... The bigger a fan base gets, the more splintered it gets, because everyone jumped on it at different points, and they view the series through different lenses. Although Pokemon has stayed pretty much the same, so like, if you enjoy one, you'll probably enjoy the others. If not, like, get tired of them, or... At that point, it's one of those things I've talked about before, where it's like, you'll get hung up on the really little things, because that's mostly what distinguishes them. But, yeah, I don't know. And even as great as I think the GameCube games are, I'm like, masterpiece, though. Like, I don't know if I would go that far. Especially with Coliseum's pacing issues. XD is, like, closer. But I'm like, masterpiece, though. Like, vanilla XD. Like, XG, the hack. Yeah, maybe. Like, that's probably, like, getting closer, you know? Renegade Platinum? That's getting closer, right? Yeah, I don't know. Like, even some of my favorite games ever, like, would I call any version of Persona 3 a masterpiece? I don't know about that. I think, like, I haven't played Portable, but at least in terms of Fest and Reload, like, they both have merit. Both are great games in their own ways. Certainly. But masterpiece, though, like, I just, like, that word to me, like, means something that might be different than what it means to a lot of other people. Maybe I'm too critical. Maybe I'm too picky or whatever. But doesn't mean they can't be great games. Doesn't mean they can't cut my top 10. But it's like, to call it a masterpiece, to me, that's like a different thing. That's like almost like kind of a different thing than a game being in your top 10, maybe. I think I seem to remember talking about this during when I was streaming Breath of the Wild, and yeah, I was gonna bring up Heart Gold Soul Silver. Very nostalgic for me, but like, dude, like, to call those games masterpieces or to be the best in the series, I'm like, it's up there for me. I do love HGSS, but there's a lot of pretty major issues, I think. Like, I would put Platinum above it at this point, and I think I did that in my tier list, which was like a little ahead of its time because I hadn't yet played through like Renegade or Sacred Gold, Storm Silver, at least like recently, in terms of that one. Your flying type's just a little dangerous. Pokemon XD would be your pick in terms of earlier gens, early game that makes 3D animations. No, yeah, like I do think, I mean, XD is my favorite Gen 3 Pokemon game, even though it's not a mainline title. That's a whole other conversation too, is like calling something a spin-off is not a derogatory. It just is what it is. The GameCube games are spin-offs, but that has no bearing on their quality, because they're better than a lot of mainline titles even. So it's like, when people get hung up on that, where like, if you call something that is clearly a spin-off, and people get defensive and they're like, if people get defensive about it, I'm like, no, I'm not insulting the game. I'm just saying that it is a spin-off because it is. Anyway. Had to get off that off my chest, apparently. Yeah, among the first, I'd maybe even say, yeah, I would probably put XD, even vanilla, like above the first 4 gens even. Because there's no HMs or any bullshit like that either, that to bog down the experience that Gen 4 has. Gen 3 also has that, but I'm also like, when am I going to play vanilla Gen 3? Like, come on. And, you know, as many issues as I have with this game in particular, with, like, ORAS, it is awesome to go back to Hoenn, because I think Hoenn is one of the best regions, for sure. This is, like, it was the first region that I fully explored as a Pokemon fan back in the day, but, so, like, there could be some nostalgia bias there, I suppose, but I really, like, the more I think about it, and the more I think about the layout and the environmental diversity and stuff like that, I'm like, this is a great region. This is genuinely a great region, all things considered. But yeah. I mean, I think XD is, like, the best 3D Pokemon game still. Like, pretty easily. And all of that. An XD game... An XD, like... Dude, if they made a third game like Colosseum and XD, oh my god. Oh my god. It's not gonna happen, though, because Masuda and co are too far up their own asses about making these games for, like, babies now, apparently. And I'm not saying that as a pejorative, like... They literally said, like, because the games are marketed towards kids, they're like, oh, kids don't have an attention span, they're on their phones all the time, blah, blah, blah. Like, they literally, like, there's literally... Unless I'm misinformed, and that was, like, a misquote or something, but, like, as far as I understand, that was, like, a thing that one of the longtime higher-ups at Game Freak or Pokemon Company said. And I think they've also stated no interest in going back to the Colosseum and XD formula, but, dude, if there was a third game in that style, and they, like, see... My dream, like, alternate reality for Pokemon would be that, like, those style of games would have continued, but had been aimed at more of, like, an older audience. Even if it was, like, you know, teenagers or whatever. That's better than what is currently the target audience in terms of, like... Because, like, I don't know. Maybe it's because... Maybe it's some cost fallacy in terms of, like, how much I know about Pokemon. And, like, their stats and their, you know, EVs and IVs and, like, all this other shit. Right? Like, all the intricacies of it. Like, I know so much about it. So it's hard not to enjoy it to a certain degree when you know something that well, you know? But then, like, that thing needs to like test you. It needs to continue to test you. You know what I mean? And so like I get that the type chart is complicated, and for newcomers, it can be complicated. Although starting in Gen 7, if you've encountered a Mon before, it'll tell you if it's super effective or not. Like a move, it'll tell you if a move is super effective or not once you've faced it once. Which, like, for me is fine, because, like, I know that shit most of the time anyway, and if for some reason I don't, it is, like, kind of a nice thing of, like, oh yeah, rock resists poison, or, like, shit, like, interactions that never fucking come up otherwise. Like, certain resistances like that are specific examples. Weaknesses I know like the back of my hand, but resistances, there's some... Because you almost always have a coverage move or, like, some other Mon to switch into, rather than clicking something that would maybe be neutral but actually turns out it's resisted, etc. But yeah, I do think one of the GameCube game's strengths is the limited pool of Mons. Like, yeah, I think you can trade... Like, there are models for all 386, but, like, you could very easily pick and choose... Yeah, let's say you're saying 200 to 300 or so. Yeah, you could easily pick like maybe 300 Pokemon from across the 1,000 or whatever there are now. Pick 300 across them and be like, these are the games that are going to be available for this, like, this single player focused experience without not minding the competitive scene and stuff like that. Which again, I gotta reiterate, love all the competitive guys out there. Love the competitive scene and all that. But you gotta admit that, like, designing these games to be accessible for competitive does diminish the single-player JRPG elements. Like, it inherently does. So, in any way that you can separate them, I think would create for better products. And I think that's why that's part of the reason why Legends Arceus resonated so much, is because yes, you can still transfer those Mons over to the main games for competitive play, but there was no competitive play in Legends Arceus specifically, which allowed it to be a JRPG, like fully a JRPG, like no caveats, no exceptions, no other additional systems that like bog it down. I mean, I do kind of wish that, I think there were no held items maybe, or something. Like there's some stuff where I'm like, you should probably just keep abilities and held items maybe, but still, though. I don't know how... Oh, maybe I have to fight Wally first, but I'm like... When do you get the Mawile, though? Maybe it's later. Because I know it's in Verdant Turf, and I think it's like you play hide and seek, but maybe you do need an additional badge or something. Which is fine, because you don't get the Mega Bracelet until after Norman anyway, so... I can just check back once I actually have the Mega Bracelet, and that's actually a thing. You're looking for the black glasses. We got our handy-dandy, dowsing machine. But yeah, in terms of, like, mainline, it really is, like, the Gen 5 games. Not to, like, continue to glaze them, because, like, I know that these days that is a very popular take, for whatever it's worth. It's warranted, though. Because those games are... The thing that I think... I understand that people might just see things differently, but I think even at the time, felt like the Gen 5 games were developed as single-player JRPGs, like, more... Like, it was more friendly to that side of the equation than the previous games were. Like, it felt like it was more of, like, a JRPG, like an actual JRPG, as opposed to, like, Pokemon games technically are JRPGs, but they're, you know, like, they don't really, like, lean into that side as hard as you would think, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm too SMT pilled or some shit. This might be a good Frogadier lead against the Hiker. Yes. I think the big thing with Dexit, with Sword and Shield, was more so because like that was always a thing. There were always regional dexes that limited the mons you could catch in game until you reach the post game. I think the issue people had, understandably so, with the Sword and Shield drama was that even in post game there were mons you couldn't bring in, kind of deal. But like I agree though that like during the main portion of the game, like it should be limited because yeah, it gives the region more of an identity, and like you could argue that hacks like this sort of detract in a sense, but then again, I'm like, I don't know that the first 3 gens alone, like, I mean, yeah, it could provide enough variety, like if, I don't know, I just feel like the regional dexes in the early gens tended to be kind of maybe a little too small, perhaps. That's why Black and White 2 is so great, because it's like, I know Gen 6 also had a really big regional dex, but the new additions that it made were like, it was like a really small pool, you know? That's why, but like you're saying, like I think that's why Black and White was a cool idea, like just doing new mons. Sure, that required them to maybe stretch themselves a little thin in terms of design, like they didn't all stick the landing, but it felt fresher that way. Also, I gotta wonder, like, I'm sure there are plenty of players out there, but, like, are there people out there who literally just use the same mons every time they're available? Because I'm like, dude, how do you not get bored? I feel like the draw of Pokemon is to, like, use different kinds of mons and experiment and stuff like that. At least playthrough over playthrough. You know? What, so that's it for that side. So is it just Wally? Oh, there's the Windstrait family, wait. Should I do that now? But yeah, a third game in the style of the GameCube games would be so sick. I could so easily theorycraft something like that, but it'll never happen, so I don't really, I mean, like, I guess it could be fun, but I'm like, I don't really see the point if it's, like, literally 0% chance of it happening. Oh, okay. Let's see if Wally actually has a team. I mean, I might be guilty of this, but I just think people get sick of a formula in a series, and then they shake things up, and they're like, no, not like that. Granted, it's probably 2 different crowds, but it's like, if that's the case, though, then, like, the people clamoring for change aren't probably showing up when things get shaken up? Maybe? I don't know. Oh, he has a real team. XD on revisits makes you use different Pokemon depending on natures. Yeah, I like that too. I like that too. That's why I think XD... That's part of the thing. Like, I think... Oh my god. I feel like Colosseum... At least for me, it sort of pigeonholes you into using certain mons, because like you start with an Umbreon and an Espeon. Both really solid mons given the pool that you have to deal with in that game, right? Use Scald until we get Surf, I guess. Because I'll need it for Traversal, but... The thing is, like, unless you're specifically doing a Nuzlocke of Colosseum, it is hard to justify benching Umbreon and Espeon. Especially Umbreon. Because that thing is so fucking tanky, it doesn't die. So, like, that thing can carry you. That can carry an entire playthrough. To an extent. In XD, and also you get the legendary dogs for, like, or beasts, whatever they call them these days. Are you, Sapphire? No. You don't get them for free because you have to catch them, but, like, they are more or less handed to you on a silver platter, so it's hard not to make your team Umbreon, Espeon, Entei, Raikou, Suicune, and one more, you know? Like, at least for me. Whereas in XD... you're given one Eevee, and you choose which evolution to change it into, and you get that choice pretty early on, too. And that can be a good bit of variance because then you build your team based on that. Yeah, Umbreon, especially because like you're starting in like, did you start like level 20 or 25 or something? Which I think is kind of cool. It's like, it doesn't always have to be you setting out on this to start your journey to get all the 8 badges and all that shit. Like, there's so many more interesting characters and like types of characters and settings and, well, actually Pokemon usually does a good job with the settings, but I mean, more interesting types of characters and story premises and setups than what they've been doing. Like, it's like, oh, it's open world, but yeah, but you're still collecting the 8 badges. And like, yeah, there's other storylines too, but like, that's all. Like, the Evil Team storyline has been a thing for like literally since the beginning, and that was intertwined. You know, like, it's not really that much of a shakeup. And I would even argue that a lot of the shakeups in Scarlet and Violet were for the worse. It's too ambitious for its own good. It like can't, not even performance-wise, just like systems-wise and like the fact that you can't do the gyms out of order. Yes, okay, you can if you want to go skip one intentionally and then come back and stomp it. Sure. Who wants to, like, that's not fun though. I don't know, I guess fun, it can be fun to different people, but I'm like, it should have been, okay, I do this gym, this is how, like, even the linear, well, okay, in universe, this makes sense. So if you're going to do an open world and technically allow you to do gyms out of order, it should be, I guess psychic again, let's go with this. It should be, I can pick whatever gym I want to start with. That's badge 1. Okay. So every gym has a badge, a first badge team, if you go to them first. This incentivizes replayability far fucking more than anything else Scarlet and Violet did. Everyone has a first badge team. Everyone has a second badge team. Yeah, and like, when people argue against scaling, I'm like, yes, I think scaling in open world games is a slippery slope. I think Oblivion kind of sucks in the long term. It's fun for a while, but it kind of sucks in the long term because of the level scaling. Right? A lot of open world games suffer from that. So I'm not saying the game should scale to your level specifically. I'm saying you pick which gym to do first. Okay, that is appropriately leveled for like the first gym. Then whatever you pick second has a team that is appropriately leveled for the second gym, whatever that level might be, right? If it's 15, 25, 35, 45, it makes too much sense, and that's why it pisses me the fuck off. That's not the case. Because I'm like, there's more issues I could point to with Scarlet and Violet, but like, if you did that at least, then it's like, okay, you're leveraging the open world and the nature of the non-linearity, because otherwise you're not. It's just a linear sequence of battles just happening to be in an open world. That isn't that interesting to explore or like visit because the towns are empty. And like, oh man, it's like, I know some people were like, finally, Pokemon's an open world, but it's like, to me, I'm like, y'all should have waited though. Like, they were not ready to do this, at least in terms of like what the dev cycles were looking like. It's similar to what you could say about Gen 6, where like, oh, they might have jumped to 3D too early, maybe. But then again, they even waited a year. Like, the 3DS had been out for over 2 years by the time X and Y came out. So like, and then again, I look back at Gen 6 more fondly now. I do think X and Y kind of sucks, but like, mostly from a story and character front, I fucking hate that aspect of it. Which is mostly the reason why I won't go back to it, even if it could be fun to play through. Yeah, like choosing your path, like actually, because you can do the gyms in any order, but they are set teams at set levels. So it's like, yeah, you can go fight the highest level gym leader first, but you're not going to win because you are so vastly out-leveled. And then even if you do manage to pull that off, then what? You just go back and stomp the other ones because you're way higher level than them. You know, like, it's just like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And Defense of the way it is, like, just, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, what does it what does the way it currently is, how does that add to the experience that what I'm proposing wouldn't? You know what I mean? Like, you could still do them out of order, but then it would actually, like, make sense? You know? Might catch a Gibble in this area, whereas if it was a late gym, might be a Gabite or a Gon. Yeah, like, I mean, I do think that certain areas of open worlds should have, like... I think Arceus handled it well. Because in Arceus, it was like... It was sort of like smaller areas, but they were pretty open still, but you unlocked them in a linear path. But, like, in all of them, there were weak mons you could catch easily, and then there were, like, the apex mons that were, like, way too strong for you. You'd get wiped if you tried to fight them. So, like, just do that. You know what I mean? Like, you can still... You don't need to scale the wild mons, because, like, you can still just do it where habitats are always going to have predators and prey, right? Like, they're always going to have, like, the squirrels and the bunny rabbits and like, shit like that, right? But they're also going to have bears, and they're also going to have, I guess in Pokemon's case, like, dragons and shit like that. Like, these things coexist, or they should be coexisting, according to, like, you know, the way they set up these worlds. And so it would not be difficult to have a mix of weak and strong Pokemon. Cue the Karen speech. But yeah, have weak and strong Pokemon in each of the areas kind of thing. Maybe you have an area that is, like, just strong mons and you want to avoid battle. The problem is the way they changed how the battles... Well, the big problem is they didn't keep the catching and encounter system from Legends Arceus, which is vastly superior because you can... While your Pokemon is fighting, you can literally move around, and so you can just, like, fucking leave. You don't have to menu, it doesn't, like, stop you in your tracks when you start a battle. In Scarlet and Violet, if you run into a Pokemon in the overworld, which this is supposed to be a benefit of having enemies in the overworld over random encounters, is that you can avoid them. But if you so much as, like, tap even the tiniest Pokemon that you maybe can't even see on screen, it initiates a battle. It's like, alright, especially with the shit frame rate, it's like, okay, everything pops in, you get in the battle menu, then you can go to the run button. It's just like, dude, ugh. I'm getting pissed off now. God damn it. Like, at least with the random encounter games, you can just spray or repel and not have to worry about it, you know? It's weird. Like a Xenoblade mixes in a Chad monster. Well, yeah, no, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, you have, like... Or even, like, Elden Ring does this. I haven't played it, but... Or yet. I would like to at some point, but... Elden Ring has, like, the Tree Sentinel or whatever, which is, like, a boss fight, like, literally right after the tutorial area, where you could stick around and try to beat it. And in that game, because it's an action game, like, you could conceivably do that if you play well enough. With a turn-based game, like... There's only so much you can do at a certain point, in terms of, like, strategizing and all of that. To avoid the fact that, like, if you are out-leveled enough to where they're just one-shotting you, there's nothing you can do. Like, there's not really much you can do in that case, besides go and grind levels or get better equipment or whatever. Which is part of the fun, right? That's part of what people enjoy, including myself, about turn-based RPGs and all of that. But they have their limitations, you know? But anyway. Yeah, like, it's just... Like, I used to say when I was more fresh off of Scarlet and Violet that, like, alright, technical things aside, it's a solid game, whatever. And, like, I actually kind of had fun with it, mind you. I'm not sitting here saying that, like, it wasn't fun to an extent. But there are a lot of, like, seemingly kind of small things that I think would make it a lot better. Even beyond the technical things. Like, I do think it's... Like, I have no desire to go back and play it. At all. But I could also say that about, like, every other Switch Pokemon game, to be fair. And honestly, like, I was kind of feeling that way about even this game. Even, like Gen 7 I haven't played in a while. As much as I really, really enjoy the Gen 7 games, I have not gone back to them. I'll probably stream them at some point. Or at least, like, one of them, you know? But yeah, I mean, like, these are things, to be fair... Like, take a step back for a second. It's like, to be fair, I can't be fair though, because the technical, like the performance issues are like inexcusable. But from a design standpoint, in terms of these other things that I'm talking about, it's like, okay, if they learn their lesson on those things for the next open world Pokemon game, then like, fine, I guess. But, yeah. But it would be nice, you know, in the day and age where you can patch a game after it's released. Like, why not take advantage of that? And like, I don't know, it's either because they don't care or, I don't know, like that, to me, that's like the most obvious answer. Somebody doesn't care. Whoever's making the decisions doesn't care. Whoever that is, I have no idea. It's kind of irrelevant. The fact of the matter is, whoever is in charge of making those decisions doesn't care. Because I'm very wary of like blaming developers and all of that. Especially because people tend to conflate Game Freak with Pokemon Company, and I'm like, I don't know who's at fault. I don't give a shit. But whoever is to blame should fix their shit. Shit. Should probably just switch and like restore this later. Hydrate a bit. I mean, I can Home Claws. I think Shadow Claw probably 2 KOs though. Yeah. Oh, maybe not with the berry. I think that might kill. But yeah. That got a lot more heated than I kind of anticipated, but I think it's warranted, man. Like, highest grossing media franchise in the world. It's like literally, and that means in terms of human history, by the way. Like the most wealthy property to exist in humanity's existence, right? Unless I'm wrong and there's something considered for, like, factored for inflation, whatever. Well, in terms of media properties, I should specify, obviously, but it's like the highest grossing media franchise in not just current day, but like I'm saying, in human history. Because it must be, because media didn't really, like, exist prior to, like, what, like a century or two ago? Whatever you consider media to be, I guess. I guess, like, media in terms of, like, film, then yeah, like, what? 100 years? Maybe? Maybe a little more, maybe a little less? I don't know the exact date. So it's like, yeah, how could it not be? It's just dumb. Like, do better. Outsource to other studios. Like, ask for help from other studios more, you know? Like, expand the team. Like, I don't know. But, like, there are so many possible solutions. The problem is these games keep selling the way that they do, which is not going to fix it. Because it's very clear that whoever's making these decisions only listens to money. And if they keep getting their money, then yeah, why change, I guess? I don't know. It's like a shit mentality, but I get it. Business is business. I get it. Doesn't mean I'm happy about it, but I get it. We'll just Scald because it's our only special option. And plus, if I burn it, that would be great. Damn, no burn? You Waterville? yeah, I guess like, oh my god, can we not do this? I guess back to like the superlative conversation earlier about like what, I don't know, I just, part of it is like I want to keep people's expectations in check in terms of like how I feel about things, because some, like, if you, this is why I sometimes get, I was, at least for a little while, like sort of turned off from Expedition 33 and the conversation surrounding it, because it was so like, this is the greatest game of all time. It's like, that's great if it is, but like, that is setting expectations way too high for people, and it's way too easy for it to fall short. I understand the fervor because it's a small team breaking against the mold, all this kind of stuff. I understand wanting it to succeed. I do too. I want games like that to succeed, certainly. But it's like I try, at least, to not make it sound like any of my favorite games are like the Second Coming of Christ. You're guaranteed to love it. It's amazing, and if you don't like it, you're subhuman or some shit. Like, it's not that. It's anything but that. Like, I try to... I know nuance is, like, sort of hard to get across on the internet. Not that it isn't there, but it's more just, like... not just people, like, being nuanced, but then people being willing to receive nuance. You know? But part of that is like trusting your audience, though. Like it's kind of like what I'm saying with Pokemon. It's like they don't trust their audience. Even the kids who are playing Pokemon or whatever. It's like, I don't know. Are kids these days really willing to just like? I guess there's so many options that like I guess if something starts to give you problems or like gives you makes you struggle or something like that, then like maybe you would. Like, I don't know. I just don't know, because I don't have kids. None of my friends have kids. It's like... I just don't, like, I don't know enough about, like, what their attention spans actually are, by and large. Or, like, I know literacy's gone down and shit like that, and, like... I think, sadly, that applies to a lot of adults, though, too, to be fair. And the attention span thing, I'm sure, too, right? I've, you know, definitely had to catch myself at times when it comes to shit like that, but... Look, okay. But I guess my point is, like... everyone obviously has different opinions, but, like, everyone has different frames of reference when it comes to quality, or maybe not quality, that makes it sound pretentious, but it's more just like they have different frames of references as far as like what they've played, what they're comparing things to. So it's like, if, for example, the only game you've ever played was like Pong or something like that, and then someone shows you like, maybe this is a bad example, but someone shows you like something like Ocarina of Time or something, like, yeah, that's gonna blow your mind, obviously. Obviously. Right? Even coming from Super Nintendo games, I get it. And I think Ocarina is a great game. It's one of my favorites. It's not my absolute favorite Zelda, but it is one of them, you know. Mostly towards multiplayer. Your little sister mostly plays multiplayer stuff, whereas you... Yeah, I think that is sort of becoming a generational divide, where I think the younger folks want to like socialize while they game and stuff like that, and like that's kind of how they socialize, especially if they were like in their formative years during COVID or something, you know, where everything was from distance. Like it makes sense. Like it does make sense. Here, I'm gonna throw this in for Intimidate, even if this is a sack. This is not a Nuzlocke, so I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, because I feel like... I guess, like, the Switch is kind of the exception, though, right? Because, like, Pokemon sells so much. So, like, a good portion of that must be younger audiences that would maybe rather play multiplayer stuff. Like, you'd think the sales would decline or something, but... Oh my... Well, what the fuck? We're not huge power. Why did that kill? I know it's super... I mean, I guess Machamp doesn't have the greatest Fizz Def, but I'm surprised that one shot. Vicky, you're shit. The Macho Brace, if you're a nerd and you like EV training. No offense intended, why can I not make a joke? Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, Pokemon is the biggest media franchise, like, literally in history, so... It does, like, it makes sense people would recognize it. But I'm like... I guess Scarlet and Violet has, like, the multiplayer aspect where you can roam around with your friends. I don't know how robust that is. But it is a thing, so, like, it's leaning in that direction, which makes me question why not just do a fucking MMO already and get it over with. Not that I'm interested in that, but it's more like... It's, yet again, one of those ideas when it comes to this IP, I'm like, it is a no-brainer, man. You can put that on mobile devices, you can put that... You could put it on PC, for fuck's sake. Like, that would be a project I wouldn't be surprised if they made an MMO, if that was the first, like, first-party Nintendo game to go to PC. Or something like that. Then again, you can play, like... I'm, like, yelling, sorry. Then again, you can play, like, TCG in your web browser and stuff like that. So, like, it's not like... There's nothing out there that you can play on PC. In terms of Nintendo stuff, or like Pokemon Company. That's the thing, is like, yes, Game Freak, Nintendo, and Pokemon Company all own a third of the company, but like whoever is, that means that they all kind of have equal pull, I would assume, meaning that whoever is at fault or in charge it probably changes depending on what the project is, you know? Like, yes, Nintendo holds a third of the stake in Pokemon as a brand, as far as I understand. But if I had to guess, the Pokemon Company is probably the one who is mostly making the decisions. Especially if you consider the level of quality, as far as polish is concerned, between Pokemon output on Switch and the other first-party Nintendo stuff on Switch. That kind of makes it clear. But yet Nintendo doesn't seem to care about, like, trying to step in and be like, hey, this isn't, like, up to our standard, why don't we fix this? Which is also weird. There's gotta be some weird shit going on. I don't want to conspire about it, but there's gotta be, like, some weird dynamic there. There's gotta be some, like, behind-the-scenes bullshit that we'll find out about in, like, 30 years. Maybe not 30, but, you know. After we find out what happened between Kojima and Konami. Because that was longer ago, but yeah. We get bulk up by level up. Is it time to ditch Feather Dance? I think maybe. We've got Intimidate in the back. And this buffs our defense, so, like... And Intimidate, switch into this and bulk up is, like, the same as using Feather Dance. It's a little slower of a play, but it accomplishes the same thing. Now, see, I feel like I'm over-leveled, but I felt that way going into Brawly, and then he threw out a Hariyama, an under-leveled Hariyama. Under-leveled compared to when you normally would get it, but yeah. It's my son. Goodbye, son. Comboskin walks up to it and just, like, kicks it in the crotch as hard as it can. And doubles over. But don't think too hard about it. Gotta think about it within an anime sort of context. These are anime creatures, they're not literally animals. They're animals, but spelt with an E instead of an A at the end? Animals? Unimels? It's fucking stupid. There you go, there's your next Temtem or Pal World. There's the next brand. You could even put an X on the E if you really want to rip off Pokemon in that case. That's funny as shit. Cut is super effective, but what is 70, 140? These are the same base power, right? They're both 70, I think, in this. So this would be stronger then, because it's ×2 instead of 1.5 for stab. But then it comes down to what Stunfisk's defenses are, and I literally have no idea. I know they're not very good. I'm pretty sure, at least. But, yeah, I don't see why... Like I was saying with Coliseum and XD, I'm like... Or even, like, in terms of mainline, I felt like... I mean, like, the protagonists of Black and White are literally, like, 15 or something like that, right? Aren't they, like, 15 or 16? Versus the usual, like, 10 to 12? And, like, I was 15 when Black and White came out. So, like... That's why I think back on Gen 5 and I'm like, it did feel like the games were growing up with us for at least a little while. To an extent. But... Yeah, and then that was the worst selling generation because people... Oh, boo-hoo, I can't use... I can't use Fearow for the millionth time. Oh no! Whatever shall I do? It's like, dude... Embrace change, at least try it. You know, like at least embrace change long enough to know if you don't like it, instead of just like shitting on it before you actually try something. It's I'm probably guilty of this because it's like a human nature sort of thing, but it's just like it's just weird. I don't know. But yeah, like, oh, my point. Yeah, oh yeah, my point. Yeah, that's right. My point being, like, I don't see why there can't be... Alright, you want to make the mainline series for kids, and you just want to, like, kind of keep it stagnant and, like, unpolished, and, like, all these other things you could insult current Pokemon for. Fine. But then, like, why don't you acknowledge the fact that you have a fan base that are in their 20s and 30s? Maybe even older in some cases, but mostly 20s and 30s. You have probably a significant portion of the fan base there that, like, wants a Pokemon game to be made, like, for them to some degree. Like, why not also do that, but, like, obviously you'd have to get a different studio to do it or something, but, like, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company and Game Freak, like, they're not lacking in the resources to be able to, like, do that. You know? But I think it's also like a protection sort of thing of their IP. They're like overly protective of their IP. Not in terms of like copyright and stuff like that. I mean more so like there's like a lot of ownership from like Masuda and like the other guys who have been there forever, who like founded it, you know? Understandably so, right? They created it, but it's also like it's such a big IP, like don't you think you're squandering it by like not allowing other approaches to be made within... Maybe they don't want to be shown up? Like, I don't know. They kind of got shown up during Gen 3 with the GameCube games. You know, like, even with Gen 2, like, I'd rather play the Stadium games and do Gym Leader Castle than I would play through vanilla Gen 2. A ROM hack of Gen 2, that's a little bit different, but even so. We lead this, even though it's a bad lead into electric types, just to get some chip on something, or scout. But, yeah, like, I'd rather play the Stadium games in the first 2 gens of mainline. I'd rather play the GameCube games in the than 3rd gen. Battle Revolution's a little different, because there's not really, like, a... Yeah, I guess there are, like, campaign battles to do, technically, but it's not... From what I'm remembering, it's not as robust. So, like, in that case, that's probably where it becomes, like, I would probably rather play an actual Gen 4 game, be it HGSS or Platinum, than Battle Revolution. That's more so just because Battle Revolution is, like, You could say this for Stadium as well, but like it is more so like a multiplayer focused thing than like Coliseum or XD at least. And like Gen 5 didn't really have companion games like that because Genius Sonority shut down and all of that. And yeah, even as much as I enjoyed Pokemon Conquest and I'd like to see another one, like I would rather play the mainline titles than Conquest personally, but and then you get to Gen 6 and I'm like, I'm not paying attention to any of the spin-offs at this point. And like typically, as I, sort of stated earlier on in this playthrough, like I wasn't really, this is the first time I played a Gen 6 game in like fucking at least 5 years, because it was pre-pandemic. But it was probably even longer than that, though. Because I played the Gen 7 games, what, like 2017? Because I was late to Sun and Moon, because Gen 6 had me fall off because I just wasn't into it that much. At that point. But, yeah, so, like, I'm trying to think, like, did I go back to ORAS at all following Gen 7's release? I don't know. Has it really been that long? Has it been 10 years? Like, would it have been... I feel like I must have tried to play ORAS again at some point prior to, like, 2018, but I would have fallen off. Like, I don't think I did a full playthrough around then. I wish I had spikes. Spikes! I wish I had spikes on, Frog. When does he learn spikes? Pokemon changes... Frog. Gets T-Spikes at 37, which wouldn't... Well, I mean, I guess that would help against everything but Magneton. To be fair. Spikes is a relearner move on Gren specifically, so there's no getting around this. I feel like that's what Gren is going to end up doing, probably. If I'm leading into, like, an electric type, you just set up Spikes. You outspeed, set up Spikes, and now you're a ground type, so you're immune to Elec. So, yeah, that's how you, like, play Pokemon. Thanks for explaining that. Like, maybe I outspeed the lead. Because, like, what is Frog? Frog's going to be a sack in this fight, probably. So, like, I can either slow it down, I can maybe get a burn, I could just, like, get some damage on it, scout for moveset. Because I could always pivot into something else. The problem is I don't have an electric immune, so I, like, T-Wave and Static will kind of fuck me up. Potentially. It's Watson. I will say the gym puzzle here, well, I guess it was pretty simple. There wasn't really any... I mean, it's Pokemon, but, like, at least it had multiple rooms, I guess, compared to original Ruby Sapphire. Although I think Emerald, wasn't it a little different, maybe? It's been so long since I played, like, Vanilla Emerald, so I'm, like, a little... Alright, the banger music is on. My show's on. Also, I keep going back and forth if I want the fan on high or not. It's like kind of hot in here. He leads Chode, which is a problem because this thing is fast as fuck, boy. But also, like, it's weak though. Unless, I mean, if it was buffed significantly in the hack, then yeah. I kind of want to just Scald for damage, I think. Yeah, we actually outspeed because of the level difference, which is cool. Goes for Light Screen, okay. So if I rematch, I'll probably want to... Well, I don't have the TM for Brick Break. What am I thinking? No, I'm thinking of... I don't think I've ever had access to Brick Break here. Never mind. What about Rock Tomb, so whatever switches in? Because I know I'm faster. Like, I know Frog is faster. But now I'm T-Waved, which in this gen... That means I still outspeed, though, right? Because it is halved? I always forget, like, paralysis mechanics, if it is... Like, when it changed from 25% speed to 50% speed. when you're parried. I don't think Quick Attack kills. Another Rock Tomb would. I'm gonna go for it. Okay, Super Potions, which has Prio. But now if I land this, we get another speed drop. If I can burn through his potions... Oh, he Volt Switches. Does this one-shot me? No, because it's neutral, because of Protean. Fuck yeah, okay. Goes into Mag. We break the balloon, not that I have ground coverage on anything. But we get a speed drop on you. Now I think I pivot into... I don't want to go hard Azula because I don't want to get T-waved. Intimidate is better saved for some other mon. I'm sure he has a physical mon in his team, probably. So I'm going to go into Tree. Goes for Mirror Shot. We dodge because that move has shit accuracy. I'm going to Leech. This is neutral in this gen. I can start setting up Hone Clauses. I do have Natural Cure. That's good to note. So I can soak up Paralysis with this thing, actually. Because I can just switch out into my already paralyzed Frogadier. If I'm going to go by the rule of, like, I'll use 2 healing items to match Watson, 2 potions. I'm going to just Hone Claws. We get the Quick Claw proc. The accuracy doesn't... Well, I mean, it matters for Leech Seed, but we already clicked that. We're getting really lucky with these Supersonic dodges. But then again, not really, because isn't Supersonic's accuracy like 65 or something shitty? With Shadow Claw, gauge damage is +1. We knock it out, okay. Goes into Flappy. I kind of want to just Shadow Claw this thing, because even if I get Static Parried... Yeah, okay, we one-shot, cool. I'm surprised that I'm over-leveled, but I also only have 4 mons, to be fair. Intimidates us back down to neutral. We already tested... Well, Horn Leech is stronger, to be fair. But yeah, you're not a Dark type. Baby Doll Eyes, okay. I feel like this might 2-shot, but maybe not after another Baby Doll Eyes. Maybe. It might. He doesn't go for it. I think Baby Doll Eyes is an interesting move. Like the fact that it's like Growl with priority. Which actually makes it a lot better. You're not gonna Mega Evolve, are you? Electric Terrain, okay. So no... I would be interested... I wonder if Skyla's gonna use her Mega in the first battle or not. For this hack. Alright, we get Staticked. That's fine. We're at -1 attack. It's a Citrus. Maybe if I had a team of 6, I would be averaging around 28, like, around the level cap, so to speak. Because I have 4, I'm like a little bit higher. Can we get much on you? I think I just sack Uzu, right? I just sack Frog. I have Quick Attack, but like... I don't want to mess around. I don't want to take damage on Trevenant if I'm going to use minimal healing items, Or none if I can help it. Goes for Flame, okay. Good of me to switch out to Scout for that anyway. Maybe I Quick Attack in the off chance that... Okay, I get hurt. I was going to say in the off chance I like live a Volt Switch. If it was neutral, Which in E-Terrain, probably not. I probably would have died anyway. But this way, I get to see what he sends out. He sends out Chode. And... to protect against Boom, I can go into this. Not that Explosion is that great in this gen, but you never know. I think I just Horn Leech. We keep getting these Quick Claw procs, which is great. That does in fact kill. Aftermath. We get 32. This is probably good for Dompe to get the levels now, because obviously the next gym is fire, so it's not like he's going to do much there anyhow. Although against Archie... then again, Archie has like... typically has like a Golbat, and... it's not like a pure water team, you know? You go for Flame Burst here, so I'm going to go into Azula. On the Flame Burst, we'll get a speed boost. Maybe outspeed this? Probably, maybe? It'd be so much more interesting if he Mega'd here. Also, wait, did I not get the speed boost? Am I misunderstanding how this works? Either way, I'll just Flame Burst, I guess. There's been a couple interactions like that where, like, I don't get the speed boost, and I'm like, I thought... maybe it does have to be in for the full turn? I don't know. I thought you could switch it in and get it, activate it like you can with Guts, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I wasn't paying attention, I did get the speed boost, but... that does, like, nothing. What the hell? Not really sure why I clicked that over Flame Burst. Flame Burst is stronger. By a decent bit. Mario bum bum. Rotom. Oh, Vanilla Rotom, okay. Can't Will-O-Wisp me? And maybe T-Wave? Yeah, there's the T-Wave. Figures. This is an interesting pull. Like, Volkner, I think in Renegade had, like, multiple Rotom forms. Whereas here we have standard Rotom. I don't really have a great switch-in. I might actually be faster because of these speed boosts, so I just Flame Burst again. The most ominous of wins. We have 32, but this is not an Ivysaur, so still got a few more levels left, but it's likely I will have at least, like, Azula and Uzumaki will be fully evolved for Flannery, probably. Because there's, like, a lot of trainers between here and there. The Volt Switch is great. I'm not gonna get a mon that can use that for a good while, but it is a great TM. Yeah, south. So wait, I didn't get a chance to test it. Rock Smash is an HM, yet again. It is better than Double Kick, aside from, like, breaking sturdy. But then again, everything can learn this, so I'm like, who would this be? I mean, it's probably best on Common Skin because it is stab. And it also has a 50% chance to drop defense, which is pretty good. That coupled with bulk up, I mean, that's the breaking power I've been looking for. Because I'm like... I probably don't want it on... well... yeah, I probably don't want it on Mawile, to be honest. Because Iron Head's gonna go here, once I get that. And then... what else am I gonna run? Maybe, like, Sucker Punch over Crunch? And then T-Fang is actually kind of... perfect? Maybe? Either that or... well, no, like I said, Ice Fang... I keep forgetting about Fairy type, but, like... this hits dragons just like Ice does, so, like... yeah. Even though this doesn't hit grass like Ice would, but, like, I have a Fire type, so it's like a... this is, like, better coverage, I think. Because I don't really have a way to hit waters right now. Well, I have... limited ways to hit waters, I should say. Yeah, I think it makes the most sense to just put Rock Smash on Azula, though. Like, Home Claws is a little redundant here, so maybe... Because this would allow me to hit steals. Whereas, like, you know, at least Shadow Claw's neutral in this gen, but... Rock Smash would let me hit steals super effectively. Ice types, if I'm for some reason doing that. Staying in on an ice type. And again, Home Claws is, like, a little redundant, like I was saying, because there's no... These are 100% accuracy. So... If something like Poltergeist was in this game, which is not... Or, like, Woodhammer's 100% accurate, too. Leech is 90, so it's like, it's not worth it to... Yeah, I guess you could Home Claws into Leech for, like, the guaranteed land, but it's like... I don't know. I feel like you'd rather just go for it, and then, like, 1 in 10 times you miss, and oh well. Click it again. See, maybe Rock Smash on... this thing instead. Just because... Let me see. Because I'm like, Lily Cove is so far. And so whatever... I mean, like, I could pickaxe it off, I guess, but... I want to see when Combuskin gets another fighting type move. Right, it gets Blaze Kick at 36 once it evolves. I mean, it doesn't get another fighting move until way later, somehow. 53 for Sky Uppercut on Blaziken, at least. But, like, the TM for Brick Break is somewhere... I don't know why I closed this. Let me see here. Item changes... Right, I guess Brick Break is probably where it normally is, which is... in 6 TMs. Or I should say ORAS. ORAS TMs. Brick. Cetopolis? Really? Why is it so late? What other fighting TMs are there? There's not much. Low Sweep is the same base power as Rock Smash in this. Lower speed, guaranteed, as opposed to a chance of lowering defense. Focus Blast is Lily Cove department store, in which case I could just forget. If I want to run mixed and I want to run Focus Blast for some reason, then yeah. Do you not get close combat? Blaziken seriously not get close combat in this? Kind of weird. High Jump Kick is a relearner move. That could be an option. It just seems... I don't know. I guess HJK... It's kind of risky. Power Up Punch. Mauville City Pokemart. Wait a second. I forgot... or didn't realize that there are TMs that you can buy. Some of these marts, please don't crash. But yeah, it looks like... You would think Brick Break would be like a mid-game TM, not literally in the town with the last gym. But sure. So do you still have TMs? Oh my. Yeah, there it is, Power Up Punch. But I'm also like, yeah, that's a guaranteed attack boost, but it's quite a bit weaker. I also need Rock Smash. Bulldoze is pretty good, though. What do I grab here? Low Sweep is a little redundant, considering I have Speed Boost. I mean, it could be good for lowering speed on entering Mons. Charge Beam I don't need just yet. I like Bulldoze. I feel like if I'm going to do Low Sweep, I'd rather just do Rock Smash, because it is the same base power here. Facade. Could be useful, actually. Can I sell some shit? To be able to buy more of these? Also, I'm like... Let me pull that page back up and see... and see what other marts sell stuff. Mart, Mauville. It's like specifically Mauville, okay. Oh, okay. And obviously Lily Cove, but yeah. Interesting. Like, I know in Gen 5 there were... Like Nimbasa and Mistralton, I know, sold some TMs. Yeah, maybe worth stocking up on some of these here. That could prove useful in other battles. Sell... If I could sell these other Mega Stones I'm not going to use, I would. But I understand why you can't. Even though you could just make it, you know, purchasable in post-game or something, but yeah. Heart Scale is very useful, in fact. Oh, I didn't realize we had Expert Belt. PP Up, I think, is better off just being sold. The Rare Candy might be the same deal, in fact. I'll take the cash. Yeah, like, I'm kind of over-leveled right now anyway, so... Expert Belt, one of my favorite held items. I think it's a very cool, specifically buffing super effective moves. I think it's neat. Also, we can run Assault Vest, because it exists in this gen. Another one of my favorite items. Very cool trade-off. Here's, you know, an extra 50% boost in special defense, but you can't use support moves. Very cool. I thought about what if they did the opposite, but I'm like, I don't think that would really work that well. Here's a 1.5 times defense boost, but you can't use attacking moves. Like, I guess it'd be... I don't know, that would be pretty demonic. Like, it just buffs stall playstyles, I guess. But like literal stall and not even like you wouldn't even... I guess Toxic would allow you to make progress? I don't know. That's not as distributed these days, though, so forget I said anything. It's like Pup. Dragon Tail's kind of eh. Charge Beam will be good for a later team member, maybe, but it might get up by level up? Let me see. It'll have better moves by then, just by level up, yeah. I wonder, where do you get the Violate in this game? That would be huge. I want to make sure my controller doesn't time out. Item changes. Okay, it looks like it wasn't changed, which means it is in its default location, which would be... Did I look this up already? Eviolite, acquisition, Route 123. Okay, it's the one between Mauville and Mount Pyre. Items, Eviolite. From the fisherman at the 123 Go Fish Shop. Near the pond. The what? 123 Go Fish Shop. What? Near the pond after answering Magikarp to his question? Is that like just across the way? Go Fish Shop. What does that mean? Oh, wait, it's that house that, like, I never go into, I think. Okay. So it's, like, right at the entrance, I think. Roughly. Yeah, Charge Beam is... I don't think anything can learn it that I currently have, anyway. Low Sweep might not be a bad ball. Venoshock, I don't think anything learns it that I have, and... yeah. Do I need more lemonades before I set out north? I probably should. Also, every time it flashes, it's me, like, refocusing Citra. I don't know why background input is disabled now. Like, I don't know what I did or changed. But it's, again, that's fine. Oh, I can go do that trick house. I can go do the Rock Smash trick house. Which might be worth doing. Eventually it becomes a little tedious going back every single time. Because usually I'll do like the first few while we're close. And then like after we head towards Fortree, or after I head towards Fortree, I typically forget about the trick house and then just do all the rest of them like when I remember to do it. But then again, I had the rewards memorized when I was a kid, so like I didn't even... Some of them aren't even really worth getting, in my opinion, but it depends on your proclivity towards secret bases. I don't know if proclivity is the right word. I should probably look that up. Yeah, do I do that now, I guess? I need to make up my mind on who I'm teaching Rock Smash to, though. Because I think Dompe, like, could work. Everyone gets Pup. Ooh. Wait a second. But everyone gets Low Sweep also. No, never mind. Facade, Aerial Ace. This could help for grass types, especially with Protean. Low Kick is really just there to resist shit. And there's better fighting moves that I just got. Quick Attack. Quick Attack is, it's good to have priority, but it's not... Well, okay, it's always stab, but it doesn't hit anything super effectively, so I'm kind of thinking... What am I thinking here? I mean, I literally have a fighting type already. And this helps me resist grass, if needed. Is there anything that helps me resist electric? Does it get bulldoze? I doubt it, right? Yeah, no. No Volt Switch or T-Wave either. Shadow Claw on Combo Scan, I already talked about that being good for Tate and Liza later. Echoed Voice. Taunt. Like, I need to teach someone Rock Smash. I don't think it's Mawile, I don't think it's Frog. So it's either I teach it to, like, you, and then I teach Power Up Punch or Low Sweep to you. Because Trevenant doesn't get... Trevenant gets Power Up Punch, but it doesn't get Low Sweep. Maybe Power Up Punch on Trevenant and then Rock Smash. Because I need it. And again... There's no Brick Break TM until way later. Like, fighting TMs are going to be very limited. Unless Strength is now a fighting move in this hack, which usually it's a rock move in Dray hacks, but... Like, unfortunately, this is probably the best fighting move Azula's going to get for a long while. Sky Uppercut is like 53 or something like that. So it's like... I think this coupled with Bulk Up, it's slightly stronger than Double Kick. Again, you don't have 2 chances to crit, you don't break sub and then hit, you don't break sturdy. But... I don't know, do I care about breaking... Like... Because I'm thinking about it and I'm like, okay, a lot of rock types have sturdy. And this would be usually my go-to move on them. And a lot of rock types tend to have ground coverage. So I'm like... Is it better to actually just keep Double Kick? To, like, destroy stuff like Aggron? How often are we going to come across, like, a Lairon, though? You know what I mean? And, like, against, like, a Graveler, I'd click Cut because it's ×4. Maybe Double Kick kills a Graveler, depending on level, but... I'm like... Then again, aren't I just switching out on the Graveler into Trevenant? Anyway? Eventually I'll set up spikes. Not on every battle, though, obviously, but that'll be... This is only because you're going from 60 to 65, or if you want to say with stab, it's 90 to, what is it, plus 32.5, right? So it'd be 97.5 versus 90. It's really, like, not that much better. I think I'd teach this to Trevenant, because I need someone to know it, and it's good for hitting steals for him. Which I don't really need help hitting steals necessarily, but Home Claws, again, is kind of redundant. Home Claw, or Rock Smash can kind of have a similar effect if I get the defense drop. You know, because the accuracy buff doesn't matter really on him. I think I'd rather run up, but yeah. What about Pup on... Power Punch is a cool move, I just don't think, like, without Technician... Or, you know, Parental Bond, or like some other broken shit. I don't know about how worth it. I mean, an attack boost is really good, but you're also running a 40 base power move, so I'm like, I don't know. I guess it's better than low kick. Like, yeah, low kick will hit harder in a lot of cases, but I already got rid of low kick. Rock is pretty shit defensively, but it's also like my only way to hit flying types right now. Maybe I get rid of quick attack. Priority's so good, but I have a speed booster, I've got an Intimidate Mom, which will likely allow me to get off an attack. I probably don't need to change this right now. I've got fighting coverage on 2 Mons already. Anything else? Redundant on Trevenant. Not really... Yeah, I think that's good for now. Alright, let's go do this Rock Smash Trick House. And I think I'll be able to get to Fall Arbor today. Just because, like, this next sequence leading up to Flannery is pretty long. Oh, fuck you. God damn it. It's so annoying. You collide once, and he's like, doesn't even comment on your time. I guess he said the time was remarkable, but whatever. I wish you actually got something from doing that, though. It's so satisfying in the Gen 3 games, like, the fact that you are on a grid, and the Mach Bike keeping its momentum and stuff like that, like, really just kind of like... When you nail a turn with a Mach Bike in the Gen 3 games, it's very satisfying. I'm gonna hit the bathroom real quick, I'll let y'all listen to this banger. If my controller desyncs, I think I can just take out the batteries and plug it back in, and I think it'll work and connect. But yeah, I'll BRB. Still works. Maybe no background input is a blessing in disguise. Maybe when I click out, it like resets the timer for it desyncing or something. I don't know. Could be anything. I don't think there's an item on this left-hand side. I think that's just like the... It's gonna bother me if I don't check, though. Isn't it if I'm down? Yeah, okay. But now, see, Gen 3 did a lot of interesting things. Maybe there's some of this in Gen 1 and 2 that I'm not remembering, but... Actually, no, Gen 1 does have one with positioning of trainers on... What do they call it? It's past Nugget Bridge. Route 20, is it 23 or something? Whatever route is north of Cerulean. And you're like heading to the right towards Bill's house, right? There's the cut tree and there's a trainer, like you can use cut once you beat Misty to get that item that's behind the cut tree, or if you aggro the trainer to come forward enough, you can actually get it beforehand. And what I was gonna say is, like, Gen 3 does experiment more. There's a lot of interesting... Granted, this is like a Gen 6 layout for the Trick House, but there are a lot of instances where, like, positioning where trainers, like, come to, I guess. Like, what block, I guess you would say they're standing on? Like, determine how you can get around and stuff. Like, for here, like... I guess you have to battle this guy, because I think he was standing in the way enough to where you'd either interact with him from the other side and then come around to get the item, or here, he comes forward. I could leave and reset and then come back and get the item. Or I just finish this layout and then I get the item before I leave, sort of deal. So it's cool in that way. It also, because there's no way to access these older layouts, which they could have easily done. They could have had it where once you clear all of them, would you like to revisit a layout? They can't put too many... You're never going to find like a TM in here, because that would be missable, and that's like not a thing that they do in these games, at least. Well, okay, when TMs were one use, like maybe you could get away with that. Like have a duplicate of a TM you find elsewhere. Maybe. But even then, that was pretty rare. For there to be like duplicate TMs. Aside from the ones you can buy, of course. Pidgeotto. This is why we have Rock Tomb. Derpy ass. I was kind of impressing myself in terms of how well I know, or at least relatively how well I know Pokemon cries from the first, I want to say 5 gens or so. Because they started getting a little more, like, you just hear Trevenants, it's like, I'm never going to remember that. Like, when they updated them, which I think they should have, like, it made sense, but when they updated them for Gen 6 and on, when they updated them for Gen 6 and on, and they sound more, like, realistic, quote-unquote, or at least for the new mons especially, like, it's less recognizable to me. But in Emerald Rogue, there's the game show segments that you can do, and one of the possible game show things that it will come up with is identifying a Pokemon based on its cry. And yeah, I was kind of impressed at like how many I was able to get right. Granted, it gives you like a multiple choice, and it's never like, it'd be different if they gave you choices where it's like, okay, here's 2 of the Gen 1 mons that have the same cry but pitched differently, or if it was like, I'm trying to think of another example. It's never like devious like that though, basically. Or like if it was a pre-Evo and its evolution that have cries that are very similar, which is the case in some cases. That is a strong teddy bear. But yeah, then when it came to like, if it was ever, because Emerald Rogue doesn't it have Gen 9 mons? I'm forgetting. It definitely is up through Gen 8, at least the update that I'm on. But yeah, like any cries that came from like Gen 6 or later, I had to kind of go on instinct based on like what type it sounded like. So if it had like a clanging sound, it's probably a steel type. If it had kind of like a, you know, cindery, kind of like, you know, like a grill would sound or something like that, it's like, that's probably a fire type. I don't know what I click here, I guess. Crunch is just the stronger neutral hit. But yeah, still a fun thing. And I mean, a lot of the cries of the earlier Gen mons from Gen 6 on, I think, are just like higher quality samples. But it's like the same pitches kind of thing, but it doesn't sound quite the same. Not that I'm saying that's a bad thing, it's just more like not quite as recognizable, I guess. Some tempo changes here and there. I don't have the... Oh, I should give the E-belt to something. Probably... Oh wait, I do have the Mauville. What the fuck? Where did this come from? I don't have the Mega Bracelet, though. Yeah, so I can't actually use it. Did I go back? I don't know. I'm like half paying attention sometimes because I've played through Gen 3 so much. And the battles are so fucking slow too, but whatever. Don't want to use this yet. Because what do you have? Quick Claw, that's probably best on you. This is the Miracle Seed for extra cut damage. Like, it's not great. I guess we'll just put E-belt on you for now. Eventually I'll probably put it on Gren, maybe. Then again, Gren gets the stab boost, so like maybe it'd be better off using something else. We got the Elder Scroll. I will fight this trainer. It's so catchy. The encounter themes are so fucking catchy in this gen, though. But yeah, I do have, I know there's like there's like one Pokemon video on the channel right now. I think it's just the tier list. That's like 2 years old at this point, but I do have some ideas that are like less about specific games and more just about like there is that chart of like your favorite Pokemon per type per gen. And I've like gone through that chart like here and there, like kind of experimented with it because I think it's cool. It's like a cool little like tool. I think that could be fun to go through, but I would probably exclude starters and legendaries and do those like as separate lists or something. Just because like it's like similar to how I did the Persona tier list, where it's like it's hard for in those games the main characters to not dominate a character tier list because like they're usually the most fleshed out and the most prominent. And with Pokemon, it's like kind of similar, where it's like it is kind of hard in a lot of instances for the starters and legendaries to not outshine a lot of regular mons. And even vice versa, where there are some starters that would be cool to put more of a spotlight on that probably wouldn't make the cut in other categories against other, like just, you know, standard mons, non-legends or starters. Rage Candy Bar, I think it's just a status restorer. It's a full heal, basically. Wow. We can power up our rock tombs. See, that's one of those animations that's actually kind of funny. With the, like, uncanny nature in 3D. I think that's it for now, right? Oh, maybe not. There's another one we can do already? Like I said, I used to have the locations memorized. And also, maybe I'm just not noticing it, but in Gen 3 there would be like a little sparkle on the tile you needed to click on. No one can learn Flash anyway, right? Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to doing it because it's a TM, but no one can learn it, so... The boss trainer levels must catch up at some point, though. Because like I was saying, like with Watson, I wonder if the intent is to, like, fight him first? And then fight all the other trainers in preparation for Archie? So I'm like, certainly Lannery will be a good step above in terms of levels, right? Like, I think... I know matchup-wise I should probably switch out on, like, a stun spore, but... Yeah. Okay, good. There's effect spore chance, too. Probably just jinxed. Yeah, see, that sounds nothing like it's Cry from the pixel art games. I'm just like... And the other thing, back to what I was saying about, like, having some series of Pokemon within the franchise, right? Like, a lot of franchises, whether it be really anything, like, there's all sorts of different branches, right? I usually think about Mega Man and Megami Tensei in terms of that. Having, like, many different, like, kind of sub-series within the overarching franchise. And I'm like, I'm just surprised Pokemon doesn't have more of that. Like, Pokemon spin-offs these days are pretty much just all mobile games. And yeah, they're different genres, but like... I don't know, I'm just not as interested in what they're cooking there. Not that I'm, like, huge into Mystery Dungeon these days, but like... That, or like a new Conquest, or a new Ranger... Like, all those kinds of options would be more interesting and all that. Oh no, you're good, dude. You're good. But I'm like, why couldn't there be like a pixel art Pokemon game or something? Or like, you know, like why the remakes of the pixel art games like probably should still be in pixel art kind of thing, even if the like new titles aren't, you know, it's odd. Mauville would be a good pair with somebody for Intimidate. Also, I can just avoid these guys. Wait, how the hell? Oh, wait a second. Oh no, it's through there. I see. Right? No? Yeah, there's no other way through here. Like, that's blocked off. So it's got to be some other way to get... It's not like a specific panel, is it? Yeah, you can't go down this way for sure. Okay, I know I keep running into this dead end. I'm just like... Okay. I think I switch into you. This is actually kind of perfect. So we're fighting in a void. Unleash this. Scald this. 2 KO, because Flareon has randomly high speed F. Oh my... That crit definitely mattered, I feel like. Yeah, because it was -1 also, so fuck me, I guess. Alright. Then again, I think, isn't Trevenant like the furthest ahead or some shit? That's a lot of experience, damn. Jeez. Aerial Ace is stronger, I want to say. Or it's the same. Okay, I think Rock Tomb is 50 though, normally. See, I see a play like that, and I'm like, how could you not be reading inputs, though? Because, like, why would you not just click it again on the fire type, though? I don't know. I don't get it. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, wow, Iron Head already. Let me take those. That's huge. Acro. Aerial Ace was kind of not picking up the kills when I needed it to. Means I need to run either a consumable or no item. But I'm not opposed to running no item on this. What is it even running right now? Held item is... Oh, Silk Scarf. Yeah, that's dog shit. Take that. God, this is so bad. Save. I think I do have 1 revive. Just perfect. Okay. And yeah, in fact, Trevenant is now the furthest behind. So we'll lead. Oh, okay. I was like, it's like, how are you supposed to get to the scroll though? Another variation on a full heal. So he has the 3 monkeys. Good lead on my part. Oh, never mind. Weird. What a weird guy. Confuse Ray. Nice. Rock Smash comes into play. 1-shots. Like, you can... Like, I can hear the original cry, like, in there sometimes. But it's... Like, I don't know that I would recognize it as easily, kind of thing. Let's switch into this. I mean, Yon was kind of shit, so... I probably could have stayed in and clicked Shadow Claw, but... I was also confused. Maybe it goes for Air Slash. Okay, Detect. But just Iron Head for the accuracy. Nice. Mauville's gonna be so disgusting once I can actually Mega. Right, so they just give you different variations on full heals, which I mean is, for this point in the game, it's not bad. Not super exciting though. But I mean, that's what the rewards for clearing it should be. Like, those should be the exciting acquisitions. TM for Trick Room. Trevenant might be able to learn that, but it's a little bad on my team. Like, mostly fast guys. I mean, I guess it's kind of like 50-50 right now, but yeah. Also, rip the tunnel that you normally had to go through. Does it just let you unlock these, but then you get locked out because of HMs? Why is it letting me do so many? Okay, so it is doing what I just said. So, like, now you need strength, which, if that is still... So, like, we confirmed that, like, Rock Smash is an HM now. But now I'm like, what I want to test is, are these still locked behind badges or not? Because, like I was saying with Gen 5, I don't think they are in Gen 5. You just don't get certain HMs until certain points. So it's like the same difference. Because, like, you know, in Gen 3, you get Rock Smash, much like here, you get it before the 3rd gym badge. But you can't use it until... No, you know what, I would guess that it still is restricted behind, because the blockade north of Mauville is still rocks to smash. It's not like... You could easily just throw an NPC there and be like, I'm gonna stand here until you get the 3rd badge, you know, like, any arbitrary thing. Like, that's a really lame way to do away with HMs, but, like, even something like that is an option. Like, make the blockades not... But then that defeats the points of the blockades, because it's supposed to be, like, your Pokemon helping you out and shit. But it's like I've said in the past, it's like, well, if you have a Scyther, then just let it use Cut, you know what I mean? Like, why do you have to teach it on its moveset? Teach it this 50 base power normal move in most cases. Also, not strength for doing that. But it must be locked by badge. Because that instance there makes me think, like, oh, well, maybe we just don't get strength until closer to Flannery, but I'm like, how do you... I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that much. I am gonna restock on lemonades. Oh yeah, I can buy quite a few. Stock up on a good number of these. But yeah, I don't know. It's a shame because I really do love Hoenn as a region, and so I'm like, I wish that one of the Hoenn games like did resonate with me more and was a game that I was excited to come back to more often. And I think ORAS is better than I was giving it credit for. I never thought it was like terrible. I just It did show. It's one of those remakes that like revealed some weaknesses with the original, though, in terms of like HMs and like story progression and like story just in general, characters, shit like that. It like kind of revealed some of those things that might have been apparent even in the original, but like more so when translated to 3D. But like on its own merit, it's solid. Like, it's still, like, I would say it's a good Pokemon game. But I don't know, like, even with this hack, I'm like, I'm just trying to think, like, how would I prefer to experience Owen, right? Because I love the soundtrack here. If you could port the soundtrack into an Emerald ROM hack without it sounding like ass, that would be great. I understand why you can't reliably do that, but that, like, and plus I like Gen 6 mechanically more than Gen 3, at least for in-game purposes, especially. Physical special split, very tight, more mons to pick from, megas, you know, like there's a lot of factors where I'm like, I like those elements, you know? So I'm like, as much as I wish there was more Emerald, as much as I wish that there was a remake of Emerald, even if it was just like this, I think it would be better than ORAS. Just by nature of, like, the things that Emerald changed and improved and fleshed out. I think I just played Rough the Whismer. That would be a more interesting conversation if it was like, okay, a hypothetical Delta Emerald versus OG. But I'm like, as it stands, like I have stated before, Willow is very tempting. Over Leech Seed, maybe, yeah? Cripple a physical attacker, deal chip damage. We don't heal from that, but I have Horn Leech for that. I think I am going to take Willow over Leech, actually. Because I can heal back with Horn Leech anyway. What was I saying, though? Like, as it stands, is like, yeah, I'd probably play ORAS before OG Ruby Sapphire. But then, what about Emerald? And it's like, well, they kind of offer different things. But I'm also like, I don't think Vanilla Emerald would really do it for me these days. But then again, I'm not playing Vanilla ORAS right now anyway, so... The question would be, like, what... Of the many Emerald ROM hacks out there, like, which one... would make the necessary improvements and changes that, like, I would want to see, and I'm not really sure. Like, I've tried a good number of them. And it just kind of fits the bill of, like, it just feels very been there, done that in that way, I guess. Like, maybe all games get to that point, but again, it's like... I'd throw another run of Renegade Platinum, I'd throw another run of the Gen 5 games, I'd throw another run of XD or XG specifically, right? But it's like, would I throw another full playthrough of Emerald, though? Like, Vanilla, probably not. And I'm like, does Emerald Rogue count? But it's not, you're not going through Hoenn, though. You know what I mean? Like, it scratches a sort of a similar itch. Because it's the same graphical style and stuff like that, but... a ton of new additions, and it's structured completely differently. Maybe I need to look into more Emerald hacks and see. Because I'm sure there's ones that I haven't messed around with. I like how you see both of its feet as it comes out, and then it does like the hoodoo thing where it looks like it only has one leg. Which, like, it really looks like it has one leg. I don't know if it's... is it tucking the other one underneath or something to where we can't see it? I kind of think hoodoo would be more interesting if it was literally a one-legged owl, but... it's not like Noctowl sticks with that theme anyway. Because then it could maybe even... because, you know, Noctowl's not a psychic type. Imagine if Noctowl was a psychic type, though, back in the day, right? Because then, like, what? Would you... like, what... we went into the regional birds in one of my previous streams, and I'm like, I think the most interesting ones are the ones that aren't just normal flying. So I'm like, okay, Pidgeot normal flying, the OG, right? Noctowl probably should have been psychic flying, be a little different. I guess Xatu was also introduced that generation, though. Dark flying? I know people equate Noctowl with psychic because it learns confusion, but I'm like, dark flying, though? Murkrow, though, also existed. I don't know. Because then I'm thinking, like, Swellow. And the reason Swellow works in whatever formats that it works is because of Stab, Guts, Facade. Or at least, like, that's a factor, I think, right? And what makes it so strong is that Facade is Stab with Guts. So, like, that would kind of have to be normal flying again. And that would also, I guess, add up in the sense that Gen 3 was going to be a soft reboot at one point, from what I understand. Which, like, of course you couldn't transfer Mons in from Gens 1 and 2, but... yeah. And then... like, Staraptor could have maybe been fighting flying. I think that would have been more interesting and given it stab close combat. And then, like, Unfezant could have literally been anything. Unfezant's just a bad. It's just a bad mon. And it's normal flying, which doesn't give it anything anyway to stand out. So I'm like, what would you do with Unfezant, though? What would you turn that into? I'm trying to think, like, superhero sort of motif with, like, the male one has, like, the mask or whatever. I don't know what... I don't know, maybe it could have been pure flying, at least, to be, like, something different. Because in Gen 6 we get fire flying. Gen 7 with Toucannon. Toucannon could have been, like... could have changed up his design, made it grass flying or something, like, I don't know, anything else. And then, Corvi and Kilowatt are both not normal flying, so it's like, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to probably cap my team at either 34 or 35 for the time being. Even though I could push to get this thing to 36 and evolve it, I'm like, eh. Let's pivot around. There will be plenty. Like, I think by the time I get to Meteor Falls, I think everyone will be fully evolved, probably. Because my last two team members that I'm planning to use are in the desert. And even then, I'm kind of going back and forth on number 6. Like, I could... because I wanted to be a dragon type, but I'm like... at first I was like, okay, Altaria could be cool, but then I would definitely want to use Mega Altaria. Because regular Altaria is just not very good. But I'm using Mega Mawile, so it's like... I mean, I could just change which one I'm going to use a Mega on, depending, but it is kind of redundant. Like, they could both hold their Mega Stone, I guess. And I just Mega whichever one is more relevant, but then they're missing out on a held item, which is kind of an issue. So that's why I was like, okay, Flygon makes sense. And plus, the Flygon that I used in Voltway 2 Redux, that's not Flygon. That's like some abomination that's way too powerful for no reason. It was fun to use, I guess, but it's like, dude, you didn't need to give this 130 special attack, come on. It is like way overkill. And that's one of those things that, in retrospect, like kind of turns me off of Redux, like Voltway 2 Redux specifically. It's just like you know, one too many changes. Or like, you know, the soft lock that's possible in Mistral and Gym because they moved the trainers arbitrarily. And even then, like, I enjoyed like timing, getting through before the gusts of wind go through and stuff like that. It's just like little things where I'm like, you didn't need to change this though. I don't really understand why you did, you know? When I feel like Renegade is like, I don't want to keep glazing Renegade necessarily, but Renegade Platinum is like, it's like the perfect balance of like, it's like tasteful changes. It's the kind of changes I can get on board with. Like the scenario, before Fantina, is it before or after Fantina where you go to the Pokemon Mansion? Which is normally an optional route, but they actually make it like, Team Galactic's here, and you actually, like that's kind of cool, I guess. Whereas like fighting Colress using one of the Pokestar Studios things was like, I don't know why this is here. You know? Maybe that was in Vanilla Voltway 2, I don't remember. I haven't played that hack that far through in a while. But yeah, like that Flygon was like, that's not Flygon though. Like it's cool to make it Bug Dragon, it's cool to make it stronger, but like, it's like too many buffs. You didn't even make it that strong. It was like so strong to actually to the point of like not being that interesting to use. Because it just nuked fucking everything. Slap a choice specs on it and it's just like, whatever. Whereas here, in this hack, still Ground Dragon, so I get that electric immunity, which is nice. Bug Dragon is cool, like for a concept for a Mega, but I'm like, Flygon being a ground type is like kind of important to it. I'm not opposed to that type change on its own though, but still, it's a ground dragon, and I think they buffed its attack, special attack, and speed each by 10. So it's 110 attack, 110 attack and speed. I guess 90 special attack, and then 80 in bulk across the board. That's perfect. It didn't need to be pseudo legendary status. It doesn't need to be the best mon in the game. Just like make it slightly less bad by Gen 6 standards at least. By Gen 3 standards is a great mon. Even with that stat spread. 80 and everything but attack and speed, you know. But yeah. That's why my point being, again, my point. Let's get to it. My point being that I don't feel like using Flygon in this playthrough is going to feel the same as the way that it was in Voltway 2 Redux. Because otherwise I would try to go out of my way, like maybe I use Salamence instead. Like I said, like Mega Altaria was a consideration. I guess like technically I used Mauville on my main squad when I last played Grand Coliseum. And in that hack, it is huge power because there's no Mega Evolution, but it's like, it's cool to use the Mega though, specifically. That's the thing. I guess technically I am running a Blaziken, which I could Mega. But I'd rather Mega Mauville. Altaria, I'll think about it. Because like Mega Aggron was another consideration of mine. It was between Mega Aggron and Mega Mauville, and I thought Mega Aggron would be maybe a little too passive, even though I think it's really cool that it's pure steel. Something I wish that regular Aggron was, because that rock typing really fucks it up defensively. I mean, I guess at least in this gen it would have an actual ability in terms of sturdy. I'm gonna lead Uzu on the hikers. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-boom, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-boom. People saw Bryce like that? Gotta gold it. Scald. How bad do you think this stuttering is going to be when we enter... What's it called? Lava Ridge? Is it Lava Ridge Tunnel? I forget what it's fucking called. Kind of assumed we were arena trapped. Ba-da-da-da-da. That's Dojiro. Maybe it's the same. I don't know. Ba-da-da-ba-ba. There are some Pokemon cries that are like ingrained into my brain though, for sure. And not even like the Mimi ones like Cricketune. Right? Yeah. Then again, you can make an approximation of like any sound and it'd probably be kind of close to correct in terms of some of these. Mr. Meatball goes down. Meatball, meatball. Started blasting. Nice 2-hit. You're probably Sturdy Sun or Willow. Because that'll limit your damage output and break the Sturdy. Oh, well, I guess that... Not if you go for Power Gem. But this will probably kill and heal me back to full. Like, two Horn Leeches is also an option, but Horn Leech is also only 10 PP, so I want to kind of conserve it. Because I like to try and make this... It's one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, technically I could go back to Mauville at any time and heal up. But it's kind of a long way back. So I typically like to make the stretch to Lava Ridge in one go. And plus there is that rest house before Route 113. Oh, is it 113? Whatever the Ash one is. Standing Rock Smash. Dig. I mean, I resist, so, like, sure. Did negative damage. Yeah, I'm just thinking about the stadium model, man, and, like, the rocks were, like, spinning and shit, and then, like, it would go fucking crazy when it would use Earthquake and shit like that. This one's just standing here. So I'm like, it's nice that they move somewhat. I'm like thinking in comparison to Gen 3, where in Ruby and Sapphire there were no intro animations. I think that was... I forget if Fire and Leaf Green had it, but Emerald definitely had it, where like they did a little animation when they entered battle. Because I think Crystal even had that. It was like a third version specific thing. Hence, yet once again, the initial pairs of these games not being finished. Not saying they can't be good in certain cases, but... Like, Pokemon games have been unfinished basically since the beginning. By that logic, right? Which is why, like, I mean, that's why a lot of the third versions do outclass the original pair. Granted, you know, Crystal, like, Yellow is, like, different. It wasn't, like, Yellow's different enough to where you could say, like, okay, it's not, like, a strict outclass. And then, like, Crystal is, like, very minor changes. For the most part. There's, like, the female protagonist and stuff like that. Which is nice. But also, like, no Ampharos. Like, they didn't improve the Jodomon accessibility. They... Maybe there are some that are made accessible in exchange for Ampharos, but I'm like, it's weird that you would like remove a Gen 2 mon from the pool of mons you can catch. It's really, really strange. But I think Gen 3 is where... But, well, I don't know, because even then I'm like... Because like HGSS implemented those crystal improvements without the detractors, basically. Like, HGSS are remakes of Crystal, basically, just split into two. Which is why people... Like, because people argue, like, oh, well, why'd you expect Emerald content in ORAS or Platinum content in BDSP? It's like, because they literally fucking did it in HGSS. They're still split, and that's dumb. But, like, okay, you market the more popular versions of the games, right? I'm sure a lot of people who played Ruby and Sapphire, a lot of people who played Diamond and Pearl don't know that Emerald or Platinum exist. I'm sure there are people out there like that. And so if you marketed it as... If you did specifically a remake of Emerald and a remake of Platinum, I don't know that it would have as many eyes on it. But at the very least, with HGSS, they implemented the Crystal things, but still marketed and sold it as Gold and Silver remakes, because that's what people remembered. More than Crystal, that is. And by people, I mean, like, casual fans who aren't, like, in the know about all the little intricacies, like myself, and I'm sure pretty much everyone watching this at any given point, right? I'm also spoiled by the way Emerald Rogue handles berry trees, where you literally click on it and it just gives you the item. Like, this is one of those things where it's like, you didn't... This was already a slow enough process as it is to get fucking berries. That's super nitpicky, though, I will admit. Is that a Hone Edge? I like the way he backs up. It's funny. It doesn't even turn you around, it's like... I was like, how steep of an angle can we do this at? What a banger of a track, though. That's so good. It's good shit. Are you still a Wilmer or what? Zeb Striker. You might have a, like, Flame Charge, so I kind of don't want to go hard Trev. I think I'm just gonna Flame Burst. Pursuit. So it's not reading inputs, but it's listening in to my microphone. No, I'm kidding. I feel like this is gonna give out a lot of EXP. Not that it... I mean, I'm gonna hit 36 eventually, but I'm thinking... Yeah, I probably should just kill this and then switch out. Because, like, Blaziken's gonna be around for, like, the rest of the playthrough, whereas... Not that I care about Confiskin that much, I mean... It's, like, one of the uglier middle evos. Kinda looks like a penis, also. Which is, like, part of what... That's not usually what I think when I first see it, but, like, I remember when people used to point that kind of shit out, and I'm like... I'm kinda like, oh yeah, like, yeah, unfortunately. Like, real weird-looking mon. This is the same gen that gave us Cast Form also, so... Oh, what the fuck? I guess because I backed out, it, like, kept... Even though I backed out, it still kept my cursor on cut, even though I did cursor... Like, yeah, if I... Yeah, it's... Okay, I get it, I guess, but... Go hard Mawile. I mean, I outspeed and probably kill with Flame Burst, but I'm just gonna go into this and click. Well, I'm gonna Intimidate it and then click T-Fang, I guess. Well, actually, no. T-Fang is actually worse. Because it's 65 times 2, it's 130, versus 145 or 140. Wait, so this is actually dogshit coverage. Wait a second. I mean, I guess against a water type, like, it resists this, but then Play Rough is better. T-Fang also hits flyers, though. But it's the same deal. I guess against a Skarmory specifically, Thunderfang is better. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I should... Maybe it'll be better to put a flying move on... Or sorry, put a fighting move on this to hit steals, where the dual stab is resisted, and that matters. Because on Flyers and Waters, like, I have Play Rough. So, like, I guess, like, a Tentacruel? But that's like that is a specific mon. What fighting options do I have for Mawile? Isn't it just Pup and Rock Smash? I kind of like Power Up Punch. Especially once I can Mega, it'll... Like, an attack boost is even more of a big deal there. Because the attack set is doubled and all that. The problem with the Fangs is that they're just too weak. Like, it's not that it's bad coverage, it's good coverage, it's just the move is weak enough to where your best stab options are just stronger against neutral targets. So I guess in this case... Oh my god, the input latency a little bit. Crunch will be coverage, this will be like... I'm kind of clicking this specifically for the attack boosts, as opposed to... Like, yeah, it hits opposing steel super effectively, and after one or two it'll do a lot, but... I mean, Crunch to a steel type is gonna do the same amount as this. Which means clicking this is better, because it gives you an attack boost also. Guaranteed attack boost versus a possible defense drop. Whatever. It's fine. This thing's gonna tear through a lot, regardless of what I put on it, so... We'll get everyone up to, 35. And then we'll push for 36, in which case we'll get, this fucking guy. Dude needs to get some sleep. Unova Born, wait, I never noticed that he said that, because he is kind of like a dressed-down Pokemon Ranger from Unova. Fair enough. God, I don't fucking care, dude. Secret bases were kind of the shit, though. Back in original Gen 3, it was just tricky to actually get them in your game. Because of, you know, no online... Like, you had to actually know someone with a copy, and the secret base that they gave a shit about, and all that kind of shit. But what I thought was cool was, like... What I thought was cool... was that, like, I remember my friend's older brother, I guess, must have known other people who had secret bases and had Ruby and or Sapphire or whatever. And so, like, the secret bases that he had transferred when they mixed records, right? And so, like, their secret bases were brought into his game, but then when we linked our games, then those secret bases get, like, they carry over. And I guess, I don't know how it works if, if multiple people have pick the same secret base spot. I'm assuming, but at that point it just, like, whatever the most recent one is gets, like, overwrites it, probably. But yeah. neat feature. It's just like, and I guess in Gen 6, there were like Blissey bases and stuff for training. And I'm sure there were, like for competitive play and stuff like that, like Blissey bases and, assuming you get EVs from secret base battles, like there's probably ones out there that were like that for specifically EV training. I think that's cool. But like, I don't know, that's one of those features that like, I just don't really care about it anymore. As a kid, it was super, super cool. And I'm like glad that those kinds of things exist. I wish more stuff like that were in the Pokemon games, not for me though. But for people who like get a kick out of the more of the sim elements. And I've said it before too, like I think Pokemon could lend itself to more sim elements too, to make it feel more like you're actually living in the Pokemon world, which I think is like a big part of the appeal for a lot of people. You know? And like there's kinda sorta elements like that with Pokemon and Me, or like the camp feature and like Sword and Shield and shit, but it's like, for one, those features break the game. Again, it's like other elements coming in, and like, I'm all for, like, because in Persona it does this, where it's like you have the social elements that contribute to your combat prowess in different ways than just like leveling up. I think that's neat. But it's like here, it's like it can just like straight up trivialize encounters, and it's like, oh, it held on, basically had a built-in focus sash because it cared about you or whatever. It's like, it's more in line with the anime, but it doesn't make for an interesting or well-balanced like JRPG mechanic. Which kind of has me more and more convinced the more I talk about it that Game Freak doesn't consider these games JRPGs, even though they're clearly inspired by Dragon Quest and SMT to begin with. That was kind of a clean animation for Diggersby's entrance. But now he's just kind of standing there. His ugly ass. And see, that's the thing, like, if I considered too, I was like, okay, I kind of want a ground type on this team. Jesus Christ, man. I kind of want a ground type on this team. But I think literally the only Gen 6 ground type that isn't Zygarde, I guess, that isn't a legendary, is Diggersby, and I don't really care for Diggersby that much. I mean, it's a huge power mon, so, like, that's cool. But, like, design-wise, I'm just like, I don't know. That's, like, again, that's, like, most of Gen 6's roster. In fact, it's... I mean, I guess I could hold my tongue on this, but it's to the point where I was, like, glancing through that, like, favorite Pokemon by type, by gen chart, or whatever, like, favorite Pokemon picker chart thing, and, a lot of Gen 6 options, I think I'm gonna include Mega Evolutions for Gen 6, because there are some where I'm like, I'm like, I guess, like, Diggersby would be favorite ground type, but, like, it doesn't really say much compared to previous gens where it's like, okay, fucking Gliscor and Crocodile and, like, these mons that I actually really like. Whereas I'm kind of just settling because there's not a lot of options for the Gen 6 category. And so I'm like, yeah, I kind of have to include Megas for me to pick mons that I genuinely like design-wise. Or, like, feel something about design-wise, right? As opposed to just being like, I guess this is the default. There's some of that in the early gens, but like with Magneton for Steel in Gen 1, right? Because that was a retroactive thing when Gen 2 came out anyhow, but it's so interesting they did that. How, like, Magnemite and Magneton, I mean, it makes sense for them to be Steel types, but, like, for them to retroactively turn them Steel, but not turn anything Dark in Gen 1. Not even, like, Pinsir or something, right? But, yeah. Because they did that with a few mons for fairy typing. Jigglypuff line, Clefairy line, Routes line, or I guess, like, you know, not Gallade, obviously, but yeah. Whimsicott, and was there anything else? I'm trying to think. I think that was it. Maybe I'm forgetting something, though. Mr. Mime, that's right. Shooba-dooba. Leave Annie. I mean, it just makes sense for me to stay in an acro. Why did all the animation budget go to Miltank's nipples, though? The fuck? Why are Miltank's nipples the most expressive Pokemon in the game, dude? I don't understand. Someone was really passionate about this, because so many other Mons don't get shit. Look at Mawa's literally just standing there. And this thing's fucking bouncing around all over the damn place. The fuck? Fuck out of here. No para is nice. I'm a little I mean, I could switch Trevenant, I guess. Nah, I kind of want the experience, and plus I can just go heal. And plus we tank like a million of these anyway, so it doesn't even matter if it paras, and it didn't. We got shield dust built in, apparently. It did have me thinking, too, about, like, what would my Gen 7 team look like? And I'm like... So, for the playthroughs I've done on the channel, this is now my second Fire-type starter, and I've done 2 Water-type starters, right? And I've only done 1 Grass, because it was... Empoleon, Serperior, Samurott, so that's the second Water, Typhlosion, now Blaziken. So, like, it would be Decidueye to kind of line up and be like, okay, 2 of each type. But I almost always used Decidueye when I did Gen 7. I think I did a run with Incineroar, but I don't know if I finished it or not. And then I don't know that I've used Primarina at all. Then again, there's a number of starters here, like, in the games that I've done that I've never really used, like Torterra. Which I'm pretty sure I did a run with Torterra back in the day, but... Like, that's rarely a pick, because Infernape and Empoleon are, like... I don't know, I just think much better Mons, I guess. They're all cool, it's just, I don't know. No Torterra slander, it's just more like... That's stiff competition. Similar with Sceptile, like, I like the Trico line, but, like, in comparison to the Torchic and Mudkip lines, it's, like, it's hard to justify, you know? What the fuck is that? Is that like a Tauros? Buddy-doo. Damn, this is a long one. But, I'm so close to Fall Arbor, kind of, that I might as well just push through. Push through, call it a Fall Arbor. Next time, Archie, Flannery, maybe Norman also, just because there's really not that much to do before Norman. I kind of just want to stay and play rough. Yeah. I don't know if the crit mattered. Somehow I doubt it. That's one of those repeated cries in Gen 1, where it's like pitched differently and all that. Because I think Eggy Doesn't Executor have... Maybe? I'm kind of surprised they never, like, retconned that. You know, like, gave Gen 1 Mons more distinct cries. This isn't obvious. That's a nice touch, though. Like, Ferroseed should be sitting still. And also, it's buried into the ground, which is, like, kind of cool. Although, I do think Ferrothorn looks weird when it's, like, in the ground with its tendrils, but it's cool that, like, its body is hovering above. But there's something about Ferrothorn's Gen 5 sprite where it's hanging from the ceiling. It's an invisible ceiling, mind you, but that to me is cooler, but I don't know, ceilings are cooler than... Ceilings or floors, chat? Which one's better? Ceilings versus floors. Stalactites versus stalagmites. No, I do not remember which one's which. I feel like it's a 50-50 chance for me to get this right. I feel like stalagmites are from the ceiling, and tights are from the floor, but I literally... That is either exactly correct or exactly wrong, so I'm gonna look it up now. What does it say? Tights from the ceiling? Stalagmite versus tight? Stalactites are from the ceiling, mites are from the floor? I think that's what I didn't say, right? Didn't I get it wrong? Well, I just corrected myself, so... It's fine, but I still got it wrong, and that's okay, because I'm a human being. Even though I'm on the internet, and being wrong is apparently a thing that you're not allowed to be. B-A-R-B-I-E. W-R-O-N-G. There's a parody song in the making. That did a lot. I don't know why I stayed in on this. I was distracted. It's just an easy Langolier switch. Easiest Mawile switch of my life. Mawile, I mean, it did get buffs. Like, it did get 5 points in each stat for this hack, so it actually would not be terrible to carry a regular Mawile and then run Mega Altaria like I was thinking originally. I don't know, though. I like that Flygon's a Levitator, which Altaria is a flying type, but when it Mega Evolves, it's not. And this team is pretty ground weak. Well, okay, when team member number 5, as of now at least, will be also ground weak, so... It's like, yeah, half the team is weak to ground, and I guess Dompe is a solid switch-in for that. In fact, Dompe being a switch-in for ground and fighting types is, like, pretty damn good, all things considered. Because those are, you know, 2 of the most common attacking types, some of the strongest. Ah, yes, Skarmory. The not Gen 3 Mon. I always thought this thing was Gen 3, but no. I think it's a version exclusive. And it's specifically on the route south of Blackthorn City. And it might be a rare encounter also. I think, like, isn't it Skarm and Ursaring are version exclusives? Which is weird because Skarm doesn't have a first form. Usually those are counterparts like Shiftry Lotad. Nice. Slash is dog shit. Who gives a shit, man? At this point, who's using Slash? Come on now. This is the big Combuskin evolution battle. Question is, do I take Blaze Kick over Flame Burst? I guess probably, right? At least until I have Flamethrower as an option, maybe? Because I feel like Fire is... Because, like, a lot of Steel types, for instance, are physically defensive, usually. And so, like, obviously in original Gen 3, Fire was always special. But, like, even still, I'm kind of like, I think Fire... Because a lot of Steel types have holdover design... Their designs hold over from those days where it's like, okay, yeah, Skarm has really high Fizz Def, and a lot of Steel types have high Fizz Def. Because that's just how they were designed in a pre-physical special split world. So I feel like special fire attacks are probably better on average, but the base power difference here is pretty substantial. Plus crit chance, plus burn chance. Like, Flame Burst, aside from being a special move, just doesn't really do much. And plus, this synergizes with Bulk Up a little better. But I think I will eventually run Flamethrower or Fire Blast. I think I will eventually run, like, a special fire move. Unfortunately, Blaziken doesn't get close combat even in this hack, which I don't really get. Should I do HJK? I mean, HJK is so risky, though. Just because the recoil chance if you miss. But then I'm like, what am I running? Like, Brick Break? Sky Uppercut? Like, I don't... Weird. I know close combat wasn't really distributed as widely until Gen 8. But I'm surprised for a hack of its time to not give the fighting starter CC. Maybe that would have been too much, but like, I don't know. HJK is stronger, it just has a worse downside. Almost at Gren. Wait, how far is Dompe from level up? Oh, pretty far. Let's get Gren before the end of the stream, because there's only a few trainers left, so... I feel like Frogadier is just not really... Frogadier's been useful, it's just like... I feel like Combus can at least have, like, solid stats. I feel like a lot of middle stage Evos have, like... It's like Jack of all trades, master of none kind of stats, where they're still kind of developing into the more, usually, like, min-maxed kind of stat spreads of their full evolutions. But, like, not quite there yet. Nice dodge. Unnecessary quick attack. Nice. And we get Water Shuriken on evolution. I don't know if I'm gonna take it though. I just Scald. Cause what? Water Shuriken is priority, but it's a multi-hit move that's kind of weak, so it's kind of... It's like only good on Ashgren, right? Which is Gen 7, I think. Not that I would want to run Ashgren anyway. I think Protean's cooler, but... Maybe that's just me. I mean, Ashgren's undoubtedly stronger in a lot of cases, but yeah. Yeah, Water Shuriken, what, did they change it at all? I mean... It's physical and it's 15 base power 2 to 5 times. It's pretty... I mean, priority's... Well, it's better than quick attack. You know what? Except against water absorb mons, I guess. But... It hits twice, it'd be base 45 with stab. We'll get rid of quick attack, sure. I gotta not think of it as like, this is your primary water move. It's more like, this is your... This is like this is more of a support move, almost. Obviously, it deals damage, but it's like it's there for like the utility of being priority over straight up damage dealing. kind of like Scald. But Scald also deals a lot of damage. But I think I'm going to replace Scald with Surf, just because, like, we need Surf. And it's stronger. And because Gren is such a glass cannon, I can't really be risking, like, trying to go for burns. You know? If I get the burn, that's great. Shores up his lower defense, but, yeah. That speed set's nasty, though. Oh my god. Where are you going? Like, where are you... what's the hurry? Any new moves accessible to you? What? Beef. I mean, like, Dark Stab doesn't matter because it's Protean anyway, so, like... Secret Power Double Team. This is 100 power normal type move, okay. That's still unfortunate to, like, be forced into using this. Maybe I'll... The thing is, Strength isn't really required until... like, much until later. I want to do, like, Lava Ridge, Tunnel, and, like, get whatever's in there. Maybe I'll just, like, catch something random and put Strength on it. I don't know. HMs suck ass, man. Any opportunity to get to shit on HMs, I'm gonna do it, just because it's, like, it's so unnecessarily bad. I was thinking for a second, I was like, who's the starter again? We're running double starter team. Renegade Platinum I did, we had Venusaur and Empoleon. Are you a Dark type yet? Please don't fucking crash, I swear to God. No, it's pure grass, okay. He goes, uh-oh. Wait. Oh, it's Rock Smash. I was like... I thought it was Power Up Punch for a second, and I was like, wait, did I not get the attack buff? No. I'm quite a bit higher level than this. But even so, I can just go into Langolier pretty safely. What's cool about Steel Fairy also is, like, you know, post, like, with the Steel nerf, like, you still resist Dark, though, because of the Fairy typing. So that's pretty disgusting. Although you don't resist Ghost, but, like, nothing resists Ghost these days. Would it have been busted, like, too busted for Steels to still resist Ghost? But not Dark? I guess then Steel Fairy is even better, because then it resists Ghost because of the Steel typing, but... I don't know, I guess Ghosts... I mean, Ghosts are... I mean, Dragapult's really fucking good. But... it's like... I guess Ghosts are kept in check by... the fact that their moves aren't that great. Like, Shadow Ball is a good move, but it's it's only 80 power. Anything stronger would be too much. Like, imagine if it was 95 like Moonblast is. Also, why is Moonblast 95 when all the other beams got nerfed to 90 in the same gen? It's very weird. Very weird. Very, very strange. 90 with an upside versus, like, 80 with either a lesser upside, like Dazzling Gleam can't miss, I think? Maybe I made that up. No. Dazzling Gleam, like, is a spread move, I guess, in doubles or something, but... whatever. Ba-ba-ba-ba-dum. I don't like Dustox's eyes. It'll wig me out. Go Langolier. I mean, I guess a powder move. Then again, like, if it goes for a powder move, then it's that has me suspicious of reading inputs, because, like, why would you click that on a grass type? That would be immune. As for Psychic, it's the drop. I don't think that's going to matter much. Just Iron Head. Nice flinch. This Pup Kill. It's ×4 resisted, but we are pretty strong. Nice. Did the crit matter? Place your bets. It might have. It genuinely might have. Really good matchup for me. Ninjas. How close are you to leveling up? It doesn't really make sense for me to go Dompe here because it is a flying type, but for the sake of evening out levels, not that it's gonna quite get there from this battle, but it'll be close. High crit rate probably mattered. I mean, maybe not. Ninjask, aside from its speed, is like pretty bad. Also, I did fall down a rabbit hole of Pokemon speed tiers for a little bit, because I didn't realize Mega Metagross is base 110 speed, when normally Metagross is like strong and bulky, but like kind of slow. Not that slow though, because like base 70 wasn't that slow in Gen 3. And I was like looking at the like speed rankings on Cerebi, and like the comparison of like where, like how high base 70 is in Gen 3 relative to like, you know, Gen 6 or 7 or something. It's like, it's kind of crazy. But it freaked me out because I was like, I did not realize Mega Metagross was that fast though. Pretty gross. But yeah. Also, I did not mean to make that pun. It like literally just occurred to me that that might be something. And you know what? I'm like kind of partial to Metagross's base design to begin with. So I think the Mega's cool. It's just like Metagross on its own was already fucking so cool. And so then it becomes kind of like, then it kind of becomes like, you know, 12-year-old playing with his action figures or 9-year-old playing with his action figures, whatever. It's like, oh, but now his legs go up like this and he floats, and it's like, it's a little much. I still think it's cool. It's just like, and like Tough Claws is a dope ability, but I think we already kind of hit like sort of peak coolness for a design like that with regular Metagross, in my opinion, but whatever. Get the nugget. Move Maniac, yeah, Relearner. I do have a heart scale. Nice of them to give you a heart scale before you have access to the move Relearner. That's not always a thing. It's not always easy to get heart scales. Layer Blitz. Wow. HJK. Night Slash, yeah. I'd rather have T-Punch over Cut, I think. I don't know, though. Cut being this strong is, like, kind of nice, though, because then it also hits grounds. Is Cut gonna stay on the moveset? Maybe. Maybe it actually will, funny enough. I mean, it's base 70 compared to the punches, but... And there's no secondary effect, but yeah. Flare Blitz is kind of tempting, but for one heart scale, I'm like... Also spoiled on the interface in Emerald Rogue when it comes to Relearner stuff, or you can just tab over to the next mon. In here, it just tabs over to contest stats. Okay, whatever. This is all garbage. Night Slash. Gunk Shot. Gren runs Gunk Shot a lot of the time. Obviously hits fairies. Makes you resistant to fairy and fighting for defensive utility. It's grass types. Makes you resistant to grass, which you're normally weak to in base. It's pretty good. The only thing it's missing is not hitting fighting super effectively like Acro does. But Acro also is only that great without an item, and I'd like to run a held item on this. Shadow Sneak. Shadow Sneak is actually kinda tempting. Spikes? Too many move pool options on this guy. I don't know what I want to do. I would like to run... I mean, I get T-Spike. I think at 37, I want to say. I think we get T-Spike pretty quickly, pretty soon. So that can serve the same defensive utility as Gunk Shot, without risking a miss, and allowing me to set up hazards. I'd rather run regular spikes, though, I think. So what am I thinking for moveset? Like, probably Surf? Surf. Would I run Dark Pulse, probably? Like, probably, right? Surf, Spikes. Shadow Sneak. Shadow Sneak's kind of a fringe option, but, like, I like it better than Water Shuriken, I think. Because also, like I was saying, I failed to realize what I was saying earlier with Quick Attack. It's stab because of Protean, anyway. So that'd be 60 versus Water Shuriken being 45 with upside to potentially be higher. If it hits 5 times, then it's what? Isn't it 15 per hit, right? So it's 75 times 1.5. So that, like, that's pretty strong. It's also a physical move on more of a special attacker. Kind of can be mixed though. Really, speed is the nice thing going on here. I don't know. I kind of like Sneak over Shuriken for coverage and for making myself immune to fighting moves potentially. And I do like Spikes for boss battles in particular, like setting up hazards for bosses. And because I'm like, T-Spike can serve that role until I get another... Well... Yeah. Like, obviously poison types can absorb the T-Spike, but... Like, Brawly's past us, so we don't have to worry about Guts, really. Like, Flannery's Torkoal might have Rapid Spin, maybe. But I'm like, there's no Fire Poison yet, I don't think, because that's Salazzle. Unless I'm forgetting one. And then Norman, there's no normal poison at all, ever, I don't think. Skyla, goddammit. Winona, flying, so like obviously both Spikes and T-Spike are not going to do anything there, but I feel like T-Spike... Because I only have one heart scale right now, and I'm trying to think where the other locations for heart scales are. Off the top of my head. Let me see, what does Langolier get? It's probably not much of note. Like, Langolier's moveset is already pretty fucking great. Taunt, yeah, it's like, it's all just stuff that I already had and kind of decided where it wasn't really that great. This is redundant with Ironhead. Thunderfang just isn't strong enough in most circumstances compared to either Play Rough or Ironhead, depending on what type I'm facing. Yeah, so I'm like, what am I considering here? Trevenant's move pool is like relearner shit is dog shit. So it's either something on Azula or Gren. Flare Blitz, recoil is too much to take into account, I think. I'd rather just run Blaze Kick and then eventually Flamethrower. Rip Game Corner where I could have gotten Flamethrower early, but it's fine. Cut serves the role of T-Punch, and HJK is also kind of risky. This is the one that I'm closest to selecting over Double Kick, but I like breaking Sturdies though, even though it is weak. But the things I'm clicking Double Kick against, like if I'm up against a pure steel, I'm clicking the Fire move. But if it's a steel rock or like something that's quad, then I'm clicking the quad move, which is going to do a shit ton regardless of base power, sort of, like to an extent, you know? So I feel like HJK is like kind of unnecessary in that case. So in that case, let me just confirm. I do just have one hard skill, right? Yeah. So because I know I get T-Spike as a hazard, which will be relevant for the next few boss battles to certain degrees. I think I hold off on regular spikes for now, because Watson's already done. Like it would be nice to have had spikes to not only set them up, but also be immune to electric moves and kind of play around that, but I think it'll be T-Spike. I think I'm gonna just do Shadow Sneak then. Like, maybe that's worse than doing, like, Night Slash, but it's like... I mean, yeah, it's weaker, but, like, it's better priority than Water Shuriken is, and it also can grant me an immunity if needed. Kind of like how Acro gives me a ground immunity, makes me resist grass and fighting. But I think Acro... It's probably going to be, like, Water, Hazard, Shadow Sneak, and then, like, whatever fourth move, whether it's Gunk Shot, or if it stays Acrobatics, if it's Dark Pulse. Well, I guess Dark Pulse with Shadow Sneak, it's, like, kind of redundant coverage-wise, but this is better prio. Oh, should I take Spikes, though? No, because... No, I'm just going to use T-Spike. I'm going to do Shadow Sneak here. I know this might seem a little strange, but... Well, this thing is so fast, though, does it need priority? Does it even need priority, though? I mean, it has priority on it. There will be opportunities to get more heart scales anyway. I'm not remembering where, but I know there are locations that have more. Just because I think T-Spike is going to be specifically... It could be pretty good against the upcoming bosses. More so than regular spikes. Especially because, like, T-Spike inflicts status, which carries over even if they switch out. Whereas, like, there's not going to be, like, a ton of switching out, I don't think. So, like, regular spikes might not be as useful as I'm thinking. I mean, if I get all 3 layers up, then yeah. If I'm able to get 3 layers up at the start, then that's great. But yeah, in terms of having priority in the 4th slot here, I think Shadow Sneak is my best option, because Quick Attack doesn't hit anything super effectively. It only gives me immunity to Ghost, which I already resist in base, if I don't Protean change, right? Like if they go first, for instance. Whereas here, like, this gives me 2 immunities, and it can hit stuff super effectively in certain cases, too. Even if Gren is already fast as fuck anyway, so the priority doesn't matter as much. But, yeah. This moveset needs some work, for sure. Like... I think I'll take T-Spike over... What does Rock Tomb hit? Ice types I've got a million answers for. Flying types... That's like the main one, isn't it? Rock Tomb is for flying types, kind of specifically. By the time I get to Winona... I almost called her Skyla again. By the time I get to Winona... They're both 6 gym flying type specialists. By the time I get to Winona, I'll have an electric type on the team. And I can run rock coverage on Flygon. If I stick with that. I could also, well, I guess, okay, I can't get rid of Cut by then, but like Lilycove. Thunder Punch could eventually be an option for flyers on this, if I wanted, over Cut. Which I would maybe opt for, because like, what, Quag, Swampert, oh, Cut is like kind of specifically good for Swampert, yeah. If I set up before it comes in and then click Cut, yeah, that's true. But I also have this, which kind of fucks up Swampert with Will-O-Wisp and, you know, resisting a bunch of shit. But, or like, you know, resisting its dual stab. What am I going to replace T-Spike with? Either Acro or Rock Tomb. Probably Rock Tomb, right? Because this Acro is a lot stronger. It hits grasses and fightings. I do have a fire type for a lot of grass encounters. I do have a grass type to resist those grass encounters and absorb powder moves. And for fightings, I have an Intimidate Mon with Fairy Stab, so... And I have a Ghost type. So it's like not totally necessary, but I think it's a better option than Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb's nichely for flyers, in which case I'm probably just going to go Langolier and just click Play Rough or whatever. Just live whatever they sling, because steel typing is still disgusting. Yeah. And there's an over-analytical analysis of Gren's moveset. It has such a wide and diverse moveset that there's so many interesting things you can do with Gren. Because, like, its special attack is what, like base 97 or something? And its physical attack is not that far behind. Maybe it's like 84? Like, maybe it's like 15 points behind at most? Or exactly, maybe? But, like, Gunk Shot's pretty common on it, even in competitive. So, like, physical attacks can be viable on Gren. If they're good physical attacks. Now, if Water Shuriken was special, maybe that would be more of a... I'd be more willing to run it, but it's physical for some reason, so... It's a Shuriken made of water. Like, yes, Shurikens are physical things, but it's a Shuriken made of water. So, like, why? I don't... whatever. I think Shadow Sneak will provide some interesting play. I can also play around, like, stuff like Mach Punch, which is kind of niche, but, like, I feel like knowing these hacks, I feel like a lot of fighting types that can learn Mach Punch will have it. And Gren's gonna outspeed most of those guys, and Shadow Sneak to become immune before they can click it, so... I do have to watch out for Sucker Punch, though, obviously, but... Why am I clicking Shadow Sneak on a Dark type, though? You know what I mean? Yeah, so next time... we'll push to beat Flannery. That'll probably be the end point. Either that or Norman, depending on how long it has been once I get to Flannery. Because, of course, I guess, like, the desert is there, and then Norman's gym also. Because the other option would be... finish with Flannery, and maybe the desert, and then, like, start the following stream with Norman, and make our way up to Fortree. Probably at that point get to Fortree in that case. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. This might be the kind of the point where, like, I start being able to actually get multiple badges done per stream, but yeah. Very long one, but worth it, because this is, like, a very long stretch of the game between badges 3 and 4.